Welcome to Journey Through the Gate, Paranormal Portal Podcast, as we delve into the many questions and wonders brought on by the supernatural experience. What's on the other side of the gate? Let's find out together.
Hi everybody, welcome in to Monday Madness, and from what I can understand, this is going to be real madness because we have, sorry about the lemon drop, I'm so sorry, I'm just trying not to cough, so please forgive me for being rude. Apparently, in the comments on YouTube, I'm extremely rude, and I can't stop moving my hands around, so you're going to see some extra large hand movements, lots going on here, because I'll tell you something. We are all natural, and we get to be who we are in this little corner of the world. And somebody who agrees with that and is himself, his own person, and the most genuine person I've ever met in my entire life is my good buddy, Mr. Steve Stockton. For Monday Madness, let's welcome in Steve. Hey, baby. Come on in here. Oops, let's get him up in here. There he is.
I wondered who you were talking about.
It's you. How you doing, sweetie?
I'm good. I'm the real deal. I don't give a you know what. I am who I am and what I am, and I like me. And
yep.
There you go.
I like you too.
Thank you.
I like you too. I like me. I like all these wonderful people in the chat. Before we bring our other surprise guests in here, I would like to say hello to these wonderful gatekeepers, Steve. I've got the beautiful Mairead. Hello, love. How you doing, darling? All my wonderful mods. Hey, if you got a blue wrench and you didn't have one yesterday, double check because we need all the, people in here with wrenches if somebody can't make it one night or whatever. Cassie, hello, the lovely Cassie. How you doing, Ann? Andrew, and Edna, hi, darling. Para-Urban Ontario with Derek, hello and welcome in. I don't know if I've seen you in here before. If I have, I apologize. You want to say hi to some people there, Steve?
Yeah, Tim, finally catching alive. Good to see him here.
Right, welcome in, Tim.
Andrew and Gnomes Trucking Express is here. Ann Palmer is here.
Great.
Uncommon Belief 21, Cloud Horse. A lot of my people are here.
Yeah, hey, Cloud Horse.
They're our people now.
You're our people
Somebody
now.
said let my hair hang down. It is.
Let it hang, baby. Let it hang. Casey, how you doing, darling? That's beautiful. Uncommon Belief. So right before I I want to do something real quick because I missed it last night. I'd like to say thank you to Nightmare. I missed the super chat. And I went back in your chat to try to say thank you. I hate to miss a super chat like that, but I was concentrating, and sometimes the chat goes so fast we miss them. So I don't ever want to thank anybody. Hi, Jeanette. How you doing, honey? Got to miss T-Rex. How you doing? So there you go. Thank you so much for that, Nightmare. I appreciate that. And another little piece of business. I got to tell you, the Black Ops mods in this chat is absolutely phenomenal. And I was told last night that they were bopping heads faster than I even knew that the trolls and stuff were in here. So you know what they did? They baked them a whole batch of shut the fuck up cakes. Thank you so much, mods. It was so clean and so quick, I didn't even see it. So without further ado, let's bring in our other guests. Tonight we have the lovely Laura. Hi, honey.
Hi.
From Midnight in the Mountains. It's so good to see you, sweetie.
You guys too.
You got the braid thing going on. Look at that.
Yeah, I was going to curl my hair, but
you look
I never
gorgeous.
have time for that.
You look gorgeous. And I have somebody else that's gorgeous too. You ready? Here we come. Donny! Hi, Donny! And Toby!
Toby!
Look at this! This is like a party, I swear. This is awesome to have you guys in. Thank you so much for coming in, guys. This is awesome. Really, really wonderful to have you guys here. Hold on, let me move this. And I'll tell you what, anybody tonight, if you want to call in, whatever, I've got the, if you could drop that Uncommon Belief and the other mods, if you've got the link, if you want to call in and you want to tell a story. Donnie and I talked the other night. How long were you on the phone, Donnie?
Almost 6 hours.
What?
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
Doesn't it, Steve?
I hate to see what my face looks like.
First time we ever talked, I think we talked like 7, almost 8 hours.
I think it was 7. We almost
went
made
by
it, but
fast, though.
it did. It was like almost 2:30 in the morning. I had worked all day, and we were just enthralled because it's just like, Steve, you mentioned something and then it reminds you of something. And it's back and forth, back and forth. But we had a wonderful conversation. Donnie had some really great ideas for some future shows. But one of the things that Laura and Donnie both have expressed, as well as Steve, is getting you guys to come in here, if you like, and tell us your experiences. A lot of times, Donnie and Laura are picking up that you guys are telling stories in the chat about past experiences, living in haunted houses or like Andrew talking about things he's seen, trucking or whatever. So if you guys want to call in and tell a story, and let's talk about it. So there you go. Over to you, Steve. Anything you want to say tonight?
Just glad to be here. Glad to see everybody here. It's nice to be here with Donnie and Laura, two of my favorite people on the internet. So
absolutely
looking forward to some fun tonight. I know we've got some good storytellers in the chat there. If anybody wants to come in and have some new ones come in, Chris Jarvis is here. Glenn Dannison,
aka
Glenn Danzig.
Yeah,
Danzig.
Too shy. But I think she came on. Didn't Aunt Edna come on Missing Persons and Mysteries one day? Called in on like a Friday night, I think.
I think she did.
Yeah,
I seem to remember
it's
that.
just us.
I've had so many different people on there. I forget who's been on, who hasn't. Sometime I mentioned somebody the other day and said I'd like to have them come on, and they're like, "You mean come back again?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you were here, weren't you?"
Well, that's just it. There's always, I don't know if people know. Now, I have heard that you it's best to have Chrome. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Use the thing. I'm going to see if I can get this link in here. If you guys want to call in, we're just going to tell stories and have a good time. So let me see if I can get that in here. Now, again, guys, I can't tell you the great job you did last night. We had Jack Canna on, Steve, and Carly Hall from Paranormal Survivor.
That. I was saying hi in the chat, but you didn't see me.
I did. I saw you afterwards because I was doing the resurrected rendering. Sometimes I have to just, focus.
Yeah, I know what it's like.
Oh, yeah, it's not, it's not easy, right? So let's see if I can get, boy, if this works. I'm so tech. It worked. Look at that. Little copy and paste. Do you know how long it took this old lady to learn copy and paste? I know it sounds crazy, but, all right. So if you wanted to call in, you can hit the icon. It's going to give you a chance. You can unmute your mic. It's going to have where it says stop cam. If you stop cam, it's just going to put up an icon just like this. Here, I'll show you. You guys have seen it before. It'll just look like that. It'll be your picture from Google. Whatever your picture is. I don't know what your picture is, but there you go. Probably one of your icons.
We'd love to see your pretty face on camera, but
absolutely.
If you just want to come on voice, that's fine too.
Yeah, don't let that stop you. So there that is. And again, the wonderful stuff in here. Donnie, I think you said it best. I didn't catch it last night. It was going by, but you said that being in this chat is like smoking a spiritual joint. I thought that was so cool. It is. It's magical, isn't it? And I love the fact that everybody just reaches out and helps everybody. So you guys are something else. This is your spot. This is your place to come and talk about all this, whatever you want to talk about, to listen. All these different wonderful guests and everything. Jack Canna has been around for so long. And as long as you and I, Steve, we're just not on the TV, talking about it.
Not yet. That's coming.
Not yet. Yeah. You might be coming. Now, Steve and I'll tell you a little story. We were actually invited on a show. Wasn't that Monsters in the Woods or something?
Something like that. It was a show out of the UK, but the producer didn't realize that like Philadelphia is not that close to other places in the United States and wanted us to come to him and
yeah, that was a little bit of a trek for you. And I was honestly afraid to get on there. They wanted the snot hag story. And now, Donnie, can you hear me tonight? Donnie was saying he was having a little problem. You can hear better?
Yeah, I can hear okay now.
It's not as broken up. I'm so glad you got that. And Laura, you're good, right? Yep, all clear. And so I was afraid that they were going to take the story and change it or embellish it or switch it. And then you know what happens. People believe what they saw on the TV. And then the next time you tell the story on a podcast, they call you a liar.
Mm-hmm.
That's
not the way you told it the other time.
So Cisco, which actress would you have cast to play the Snot Hag? If you could cast everybody.
You know what? You know who I am all about some Yellowstone right now? I am so in love with Beth. And you wouldn't think that was the character I'd pick, but if anybody's watching Yellowstone, she's kind of a broken, she's been broken. I think the whole problem with her is she lost her mom or something like that. And she felt responsible for it because she scared her horse and it threw the mom, her mom hit her head and died. In fact, I think the mom even blamed her. Before. And so anyway, I really love that actress. I wish I could remember her name. I just know her as Beth Dutton in Yellowstone. So if anybody, I want her.
I was thinking Glenn Close for some reason.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I pictured that story in my head, I'm like, I'm envisioning Glenn Close.
Cool. I was actually scared somebody in, you guys are probably too young to remember, but there was one where Glenn Close played a kind of a stalker woman where she boiled somebody's pet bunny. I forget what that. Thank you. And I had the trench coat and I had platinum blonde hair at the time. It was lighter than Laura's, curly. And a guy walked into the quick check as I was standing there. He'd just seen the movie and he just froze. And like I'm like, what?
Don't boil my kid's pet rabbit.
He looked just like her. Oh my goodness, we've got somebody in here. Let me see something. Whoops, somebody popped in and popped out. Hang on, let me check.
Somebody knocked on the door and ran.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Nope. Wait a minute, let me see here. Nope, they're gone. Okay, real quick, Steve, you missed this one the other day, and I'd love to get your take on this. It's what I think is one of the best captured videos of a ghost I've ever seen. I don't know if you've seen it, but if you haven't, you need to. Is that cool if I play that real quick?
Go for it.
Just so everybody can see? Okay, let's see here. Pardon everybody that's seen it before, but I'd just love to get his take on this. And now this one, actually, the mom took the kids and left. Look at this. Look how she holds her hands out as an elderly person to kind of get balance. Like a cattail, She opened the door, Steve.
Yeah, I see that. What the hell?
Is that not incredible? I did a couple still shots so you can see through the... Yeah, you can see. Is that the light switch through her? Yeah, it's light switch. You can see.
It looks like a little old granny woman.
Uh-huh. And now and you can kind of hear Get Out. I couldn't make it loud enough, but with headphones and when I was, listening. And here it is one more time, just so you can kind of see the arm behind. When an elderly person's off balance a little? Blows my mind.
Hey, Cisco, you might want to check your backstage there.
I'm checking. Isn't that something, Steve?
That is creepy.
And I just thought I would share that with you because I don't know if you've ever seen that. I think we
never
got a
seen it.
guest in here. Look, I can't believe this. Look at you, Pam Barry. Hi, darling.
Hi, Pam.
How are you, love?
I'm great.
Oh, wonderful.
I just popped to say happy birthday.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, my darling. For those who don't know, Pam Barry is one of the owners of Hoover House, which is the absolute beacon of love and light. We did a great show on it. It's absolutely... Oh, look!
That's Steve's balloon, I think, that we got him.
The one that you sent me in October, it's still got a little bit of helium in it.
It's still got air in it. That's awesome.
Able to reuse it.
Oh, thank you so much. How's Steve? How's everybody? How's the spirits? How's the ghost kids?
Amazing.
Did they have a good Christmas?
They did, absolutely. A lot of activity here in the house.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as the Christmas trees went up, it was just like
boom.
Man.
Oh.
We've been really busy with some investigators coming in and everybody being busy, but a lot of light and laughter in the house. So it's been good.
Oh, that's wonderful. To think of what you took them out of to bring them to such a place full of love. I had Jack, Ken, and Carly on last night.
Love them.
And no, and we were talking about it. We were talking about the bash again, and told everybody start early. Get you a room at the Wyndham, or whatever. Make sure you're there because it's the most wonderful people at the Gettysburg Bash. And 3 days just isn't enough. It needs to go for like a week, but it would probably kill you and Steve.
Yeah, it would.
But gosh, there's just so much to do, and it's in a wonderful place with wonderful people. And I was telling them, look, they need to schedule a time at the Hoover just to come in and investigate for a couple of days. I said, let me know when I'm there. Laura and I'll definitely be there, and just enjoy that kind of. It's so different, Pam. It's so full of light and love.
I like that. I like when people. And I want the energy and the vibration to be of visiting your grandparent, of a welcome. Lay all of your troubles down. Just
So true.
come in with and a vibration of let's find out what's really here. Let's get some good evidence and let's benefit the spirits and us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the way it should be. And that's the way it always, and I think we were talking, Jack and Carly and I were talking last night, we've almost come full circle because I think we, lost some of the kindness, 25, 30 years ago, and everything was evidence. Whereas at the Hoover House, whether it's spirit, I think the spirits had a lot to do with the gathering of people that they brought there, you and Steve and Jim and Dave and everybody that's involved. They had a big hand in it. They gathered the right ones with that right intent, the right heart for this. And now everybody's coming. It's like if you build it, they will come. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful, really.
All right. You got another person to add, Cisco.
Another person.
Sorry, Pam.
All right.
Oh, thank
Love
you
you
so
guys.
much, darling.
No, you
I hope
can-
to see
Pam.
you soon.
Pam, you can stay.
You can stay if you want.
There's room.
There's
All
room.
right,
Hang on, let me see.
Have up to 10 on screen. We'll
My
stream
goodness, we got somebody else. Oh my goodness. Sweetie.
live. Dave.
Hi, baby girl. How are you?
Hi, my brother. How are you?
Oh, sinus.
So tired.
Kicking my ass this week and moving the new house and now plumbing issue in the new house, but it's all right. We're doing all right. The family's doing good.
Oh, good.
No.
Lots and lots of raw garlic, colloidal silver.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right
yeah.
now, eat lots of garlic and salsa, baby.
It's
and
the
clear-
whole watery eye thing,
Yeah. And
But I wanted to make
congratulations
sure-
on the new house.
Well, thank you. When you come into town, you'll have to come see it.
Come into town. Heck, I'm looking to, that's where I want to be. I
Well,
want to be
as
there.
you
I
know-
feel the call to pull.
As you know, it was built in 1890, so it's actually older than
Uh-huh.
the Hoover House.
I've heard.
And there is some activity already.
Wow. Okay.
My wife was working. I was here with some of my kids, and I was in the living room here, and I was putting together on my computer desk, actually, and I heard a male voice say, hello, and I thought one of my neighbors had popped his head in the back door. So I walked around towards the back door and was like, hello, and there's nobody back there. And my daughter came down, and she said, who are you talking to? I said, I'm nobody. I thought that was your TV. She said, no, I just heard somebody say hello, and then I heard you answer them. So,
Wow. Okay. Here we go.
but I had to make sure I popped in before I head off to Drowsyland to wish you a very happy birthday, and I can't wait to see you again.
Oh, how wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And that's all I had Jack and Carly on last night, and we were talking about the Hoover House half the time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get them to come down there and stay and pick a time and then let us know so we can all come down and be together again. And Jim and I are talking about the book. I told him, I said, I really want to get down there and investigate, get into the library and look at the history and pull out the stories and find the personal stories of the people that live there. Where they're buried, what they did, how they lived, what they did. Because there's so much, there's always a story to a life.
Well, you know what's going on now, right?
No, tell me.
Pam knows. Was Steve
I heard you got the bus and the tours.
Okay, yeah. Well,
I told
there
you
go.
that was going to happen.
Yep, that was all their idea. But I mean, And the thing that I like about it is not just the paranormal tour, but there's also going to be a tour just the history of the town. And to me, that's awesome. That's fascinating.
Absolutely.
So
It's
Absolutely.
going to be the Departed tour.
It's going to be a what?
The Dearly Departed tours of.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful.
We were driving and he goes, "Let's call it Departed." We were like, "That's perfect." It was meant to be.
It's meant to be. It's a magical place, and you're going to keep seeing that. And I know Pam, she just, she's felt it because of the decorating and everything, and all of that. You're so personally hands-on. It's all got you all through there, but you know that you're being guided, and it's just amazing. I think you haven't even seen the beginning yet. It's going to just absolutely blow up. So we are talking about in Waynesboro, PA. It is the Hoover House Bed and Breakfast, and it's right outside of Gettysburg. Laura's been there. Isn't it beautiful, Laura?
Oh, I love it. I can't wait to go back. I'm like dying to go back.
Yep. Don't die to come back.
I didn't mean to say that.
Even the dead are dying to get in. The living are we've got all kinds of promos we could do. But it's absolutely wonderful place. So don't hesitate. And it's also on what is it that you can look it up? I know the name. Airbnb. Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely look into it and look at the rooms and everything else. And don't hesitate because the place is, I think you're going to be stock full all the way through spring and summer. I really do.
It's like a beautiful place.
We're booking up until like May.
Yeah, like
Wow.
March, every weekend in March is full.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With
Absolutely.
either people just coming to stay Airbnb or paranormal activity type of stuff. I mean, March is going to be very busy.
And just in case the chat gatekeepers in the live chat don't realize, this is a place that Spirit basically drew all of them to, right to the point where they were going to get another house, and they kept saying the green room, the green room, the green room, and they're standing in the green room while I think it was you, Dave, with somebody else, and they're out in the other room talking about it, and it finally hit them, the green room. This was the place they were supposed to get. This was all set up by Spirit. If you don't think Spirit can move in multiple lives for a purpose, and once people go here, and Laura can attest to this, people want to talk to you from the other side. They know you're coming, and they get there early and wait for them.
Yep.
Don't they, Pam?
We do. They do. We'll do table tipping in this parlor, and we've actually had I think it was April was the first one that noticed it because she was at the table and she's looking across the table into the other parlor, and it was like a waiting room and of spirits. And when one person would get off the table and someone new would get on, one spirit would leave, and then you'd see another one walking to. She said you would see another one walking over towards where we were.
Absolutely. I mean, it's something. I mean, I'm not even surprised by it anymore. I'm in awe of it, but I'm not. It doesn't surprise me to the point of, you know what I mean, where I'm like, oh my gosh, a shot. I expect it. Because it's just, they've got that well-worn path now where, the ones that can, so stronger spirits with stronger energy and knowledge can bring in the ones that don't have as much energy to, to draw in, to come and see a loved one. And it's wonderful. The spirits are all helping each other. The living are all helping each other. And I think it's in that town. You can feel it in the town too. The love and the support and the camaraderie. It's almost like a big team. And I highly suggest everybody who can get there. If you're thinking about a trip, go out there and book a time and go. There's never a bad time to go to the Hoover House. And I can't thank you guys enough for coming in here.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much. I've met the most wonderful people over the years, and I'll tell you what, I wouldn't trade this for anything, man. Thank you guys so much.
You're very welcome. I'll see you guys. See you later.
I know you got to get some sleep, sweetheart.
Yeah, I feel like
out too. I got my grandson.
Thank you, brother.
Feel better, Dave.
Thank you.
Feel better. We lost Donnie. Where did Donnie go?
I don't know. Bye, Pam.
Bye, honey.
Are you going, sweetie? Thank you. Hugs to Steve. And the kids.
And Chucky.
Yeah. Bye. That's awesome. What a surprise. You did that, didn't you, Laura? That was sweet.
No.
Oh, yeah, our unicorn, our sparkly unicorn, spreading glitter everywhere. I'll tell you what, you bring so much light and sunshine to everybody that you decide to spend time with and I'm just so grateful to have you and Steve and Donny in this chat and everybody. I can't tell you how many people have written to me or messaged me or whatever and said, I think I have more friends. Here's Donny back. There you go.
Got another one.
I was just switching devices because I realized it was my iPad was the problem.
Okay, well,
So
let's
it's
try
just
this.
my
Can you
phone.
hear good now?
Yeah, and I can walk around too. So.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. So that's what I was thinking, guys. We just got a schedule. I can't remember how many rooms they have, but like I was talking to Jack and Carly off air last night, and I said, gosh, if you could pick. I've already got Rob. Rob said he would do it. Oh, my goodness. Look who's in here. Oh, my gosh. How did you get him over the castle wall? Sir Bowden.
Brian.
Hi.
Happy birthday, lady.
Thank
Happy
you,
birthday,
sweetie.
everybody. Laura.
Another one of my brothers. Oh my gosh, look how lucky. What a lucky girl I am. Look at these beautiful people that are my friends. Isn't this wonderful? And everybody in the chat. Hello, love. How you doing?
I started up the year on a positive, if you'd like to get my drift.
Yes. Nice.
Oh,
nice.
no.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm
Luckily
still
you were prepared.
Yeah, but I'm still wiped out for it. It really just, it's like a really bad cold, or if you have children, it's the same thing. And it's just for like a it just
Wait a
drains
minute.
you.
Did you just say that having children is like having a bad cold? Is that what? That's
No,
what he said, Laura.
it's draining you.
Oh, okay. Little energy vampires.
Yeah, there is absolutely nothing you can do to take anything, and it's really weird because one minute you're wiped out, and then the next minute you can't sleep, and you start thinking about feeding mayo to fish and eliminating the process. So but there's been a couple of good changes recently in the world, and if people have had a hard time sleeping, there's reasons
energy.
for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And here real quick, I want to catch Fro's moments because I absolutely believe this. I'm trying to catch what I can here in the chat. He's saying that Gettysburg, hi Frozen, thank you so much for coming in, is a legendary location, strange and fast frequencies, ebb and flow all around the battlefields. And boy, if that isn't true, and anybody who's been there can attest to that. Thanks, Froze.
Amen. And those lovely people you had on just a minute ago are fantastic. Happy birthday, Pam.
Yes, we just missed hers. Yeah.
Oh,
Great
was it?
experience.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Last week.
When we went there, I was hoping to connect myself, but I wanted my missus to connect, and she connected, and my two kids connected with their grandmother. And then on top of that, we helped my wife's uncle, who died when he was a baby about 80 plus years ago, transition into the light, into God's heaven, which is, talking about doing good deeds for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here you go, Laura. Yep. You are darn sweet. And I love you, darling. But that's the thing. I can't explain it. And we've often talked about Gettysburg, the draw. Like, why would I be drawn 3 hours? You know how many battlefields I go past or over or whatever, Revolutionary War? I mean, I've been to Fredericksburg and I felt stuff, but not the same. It's like Fredericksburg isn't going, Cisco, but Gettysburg does that, man. And I can't explain it. I don't know if it's reincarnation. The most interesting thing I think Steve and I ever came across when we were talking about it was, what if not so much I don't know if you would call it reincarnation or fractured soul, split soul, something. What if, do you think it's possible for somebody to leave a portion of themselves there but still be able to cross over?
Oh yeah.
I think that's a whole different concept if you think about it.
No, it's not actually, because technically we're all energy, and we all have energy. So this is why certain things affect us more so, like electromagnetic fields will affect us. And if you interfere with certain energies, you get back pain or you get a neck pain or whatever it is. But because we're going to show our age right here, Steve, pay attention to this one. when they used to do recordings, they would leave a trace of magnetic or energy on a piece of magnetic tape. And that's what your audio recordings are. That's what video recordings are. So what you're doing is you're kind of leaving a stain on the spectrum in that location. And it's going to constantly play over and over again. You know? And then there's some people that, for some reason, they're all right being in that middle ground. You know? Maybe it's
the in-between.
Yeah, the in-between. They're all right there. They're like, okay, you know, almost like as if they're burdened with this task of doing something until something happens to allow them to go into the next lifetime. But that place is just, it's crazy. It is insane. And I've been trying to get there for well over a decade. And, you know, the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash, those
Amazing.
guys, Pam and Steve and James and everybody and you know, that put it on there. What better way to go into something with helping out as many people who have protected our way of life and freedom for a long time.
Right, because all the money from the bash, and I do mean all the money from the bash, goes to wounded vets and children with terminal illness. And, you know, it's all about the kids and the vets the whole time. And you go in, and I said it last night, all the things, people, my son was on the elevator, and there was a wedding at the same time. And this older lady came in, and she says, I don't know what's up with all these paranormals. I think I saw Bigfoot and all these people in black t-shirts. It's kind of scary. And I said, well, the thing is it's funny because people do think that, but all those people, those scary people in black t-shirts are the ones who show up when you're in your darkest, and they will come and they will help you, and they will bend over backwards to help you through the darkest times of your life. And it's an amazing group of people. It really is.
It's a solid group.
Yep.
I think Steve would do really, really well there, Mr. Stockton.
Yes.
If he came out and, you know, presented and,
yes,
you know, let the ladies run their fingers through his beard. You know.
I'm going to try to get out there this year.
Take
I
your
think it would be
bike.
wonderful. And Mulder is more than welcome. Wyndham is pet friendly. There was plenty of people with their dogs there.
Everybody in the hotel, everywhere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The last time I saw that was in Europe someplace.
Mm-hmm.
Never saw it anyplace else. Wyndham loves the pets.
Mm-hmm.
So,
absolutely
you know, it's
welcome.
great.
Yep. We just have to get you out here, you know. Well, we figured it one time, didn't we, Steve? If you rode a bicycle with Mulder in a basket, it would only take, 2 weeks?
2 weeks, I think, by starting
It was
now.
like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, something like that. But, you know,
That's
we gotta
exactly
get
what I was thinking.
That's what you were thinking. I was thinking of that bicycle thing, you know. But
He just, he needs to hit all the different battles, like, you know, not just Americans versus Americans or French, Indian, or whatever. He needs to go to Wounded Knee. He needs to hit all these different little locations and then write about it all the way down.
I couldn't go to Wounded Knee, man. You'd leave me in the dust.
Yep. Well, yeah, I want to go to Wounded Knee, and there's something inside me that says I gotta go there.
Yeah.
But I think there would be a great book, and you could also write the whole trip off. So,
business expense.
Yeah. So it's all at expense, but someone's birthday's coming up, and I wanted to wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you, darling. I appreciate that so much. 60, the big 60. Can you believe it?
You're 6? Oh, that's great.
6.
No. If you do it my way, you'll never get older than 9.
Well, I've been 60 for the past 5 years. I prepared for this. I'm a prepper, man. You know, I just started telling people when I was 55 that I was 60. So when I turned 60, it wouldn't be a surprise. It's like, you know. Yep. And for somebody who was you know, those things in your yearbook where there's a most likely to succeed, most likely to go into politics, most likely not to make it to 21. That was me. Fooled them all, didn't we?
Yep. Got 2 words for them, and they're not happy birthday.
Yep.
No, it's just a number. It's not the number. It's how you feel in here and in here. Mm-hmm. And there's good news for everybody because apparently I just heard Viagra does wonders to get rid of COVID.
Yep.
So have fun with it.
There you go.
There you go.
Did. I heard that too. Isn't that funny?
No, it's
crazy.
Great. You know what? It's about time they start thinking outside the box with all this stuff too.
No joke.
But
well,
yeah.
I'm thinking inside the garlic box and the colloidal silver and everything else, and we're doing fine. Mario's doing really, really good.
Awesome.
Like I said, don't lay down. That's the number one thing. Sit up, sit up, sit up. That seems to be the big thing. And if you those old wives things, and things like red onion tea with cumin, and that's him right there. See that right there, that colloidal silver. Look,
Yep.
I'm not a doctor, and I don't play one on TV. That's why you can listen to what I'm saying. I mean, it's just 16 through brown recluse, spider bites, being a single mom, I couldn't be sick. I found that silver. It's wonderful for burns. They put it in newborn babies' eyes. It's all kind of thing, but it has to be that hydrosol. If you ever hear about colloidal silver turns you blue, well, that's because it still has the oxidation in it.
Right.
So yeah, Brian's been doing this for a while.
Oh, I've been doing it for a while. The best thing about the whole thing was I have a nebulizer that I bought online. I bought it a while ago, but I put 4 dropperfuls of it in there, just in through the mouth or out through the nose, in through the nose, out through the mouth. That cleans all that bacteria and junk out. You don't understand.
Dandelion root tea.
You'll feel like $1 million.
Yep. Red onion tea with cumin. It really gets that stuff out of your lungs so it doesn't sit there. And I think we got another guest. Can we get another Brady Bunch, Cisco Bunch in here? Right, guys? Here we go. Look who's coming. Look who's here.
Hey,
Let's see.
Connor.
Oh, they're going to get...
It's Connor.
You're spinning, honey. You got the worry worm going.
The worry worm.
We'll just let's see here. Okay, wait a minute. He's coming in another way. Here he comes through a portal. You figure Bigfoot Anon would come through a portal. Let's see. There he is. Hi, sweetheart.
There he is.
Hi, welcome in. How are you, love? Where are you? Can he hear us?
Like he's out somewhere.
Can you hear? He's somewhere. He's in a portal. Look at him.
Yes, I'm checking out this abandoned haunted trailer, and I just wanted to say happy birthday, Cisco, and what's up, everybody?
Thank you, sweetheart.
go.
How kind of you. Whoa. He's in abandoned what? Where are you at,
He's
Connor?
in a haunted trailer?
A haunted trailer?
It's coming in. Guys, I'm at this abandoned trailer that there's been a lot of stories of paranormal activity and also homeless people sneaking in and living in here.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Blame them. After the hurricane, a lot of people were left with nowhere to go, but a lot of people use this place.
Nope. You're spinning, honey.
Oh, they got
We
it.
don't know.
You take your time. You might pop in.
Homeless people or the
I don't know. Somebody took him out. Connor, if you can hear us, he's in the black hole. You pop back anytime you want, sweetie, okay? Get your connection might go. He's probably going to pop in on another one. All right. That's amazing. Oh, gosh, this is something. Everybody, look at all these wonderful people. Isn't this nice? Everybody coming in, wishing everybody happy birthday and everything. It's
great.
I couldn't spend this with... I wouldn't. My family. I'm with my family. Look, I'm with my real family right here. You know what I mean? It's just so cool, and I'm not gonna say anymore because you'll see Cisco cry, and nobody wants to see that.
You're gonna make me cry.
It's not pretty. Weed tea. Wait a minute. Nightmare is saying weed tea. I haven't tried it. I can't even do edibles. Those things will mess you up. So I can't imagine what weed tea would do.
Edibles are just a totally different ball game.
No.
Just hit the pinky nail. Don't eat the whole thing.
No.
Just touch that little pinky. That's it.
Here, I think we got Connor back. Hang on 1 second, guys. There he is. Here we go. It cut you off right in the middle where you were saying you were investigating a haunted trailer. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you guys.
There you go. So tell us again where you were. You said homeless coming in after the tornadoes and stuff, and I don't blame them. It's cold. How cold is it where you are, Connor?
Yes, this is in the panhandle of Florida on stained soil, not far from Ocheesee Pond, where in the 1800s a Sasquatch was captured. But there was civil war, battles fought here, and a lot of strange other stuff. This is near the Japola River, where there's stories of headless ghosts and also religious snake handlers that their mission failed. They were not pure enough. But now this place is used for dumping, and homeless people have been, of course, stopping in here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
wow.
I use it as my nightly, investigation spot. And plus, I like to feed all the cats that live here.
Oh, God bless you.
Aw.
Oh, yeah, please feed the kitties. We were out there feeding them today. It's going to be like 14 degrees.
If you see
14
any
degrees.
strange...
Ooh, wait a second, Connor. I have to stop you for a second. We have got a troll in the chat. Get 'em, mods. Bake him some cupcakes. There he goes. And that was
Troll in the
fast.
chat.
Yeah, this is what we do here. Brian, you'll love this. This is what my mods do. They bake them up some cupcakes. You see that?
Nice.
You just got baked some shut the fuck up cakes. And there it is. Isn't that the sweetest? Yeah, I mean, they were doing it so fast last night. I heard that there was multiple bots and stuff popping in here, and I didn't even see them. That's how fast these blue wrenches sling like, nobody's business.
Oh, I've seen them do the good job right there.
They're amazing. I am so lucky. I'm blessed with wonderful mods here. Connor, you fell out again, sweetheart. But my goodness, there's a lot going on there. Haunted cats? No, it wasn't. It was a haunted
Panhandle
trailer.
of Florida. Yep.
So, hey, do you want to give a story? Who wants to give a story? An experience? Who wants to go? Donnie, do you want to tell one of yours, or you want to wait?
I'm gonna smoke and
Have
watch
your
you guys right now.
Have your cigarette. Who wants to tell a story?
I did an investigation recently. We were supposed to go shooting upstate New York, and it was closed. So we did. We have a Plan B option. We were up in upstate New York, near Yorktown. I'll just leave it in the vague area.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to this big public area, and something was drawing to me this one spot. And as we're walking, the signs are everywhere. There's tree bends. There's arcs. There's stars on the not only in the ground but on the upright stars made. And then we came across two prints. One was 6 foot, and the other was about 17. One was about 12 inches a foot, because I use my foot as a scale. I'm 12 inches, and the other one was about 16, 17 inches.
Keep it clean, Bowden.
No, it's really
Jeez,
cool.
man, it's a family show. We just got done saying a family show, and he's over here bragging.
well, I wish it was here. There you go. There it is, right there. So, but what was really cool is you get the big. You had the big toe of the. It was a left. The smaller one, the younger one was definitely a left foot. Is where the toe was, and the same thing with it was like a mother and a young were draping through there. It's really cool. We got some photographs. I tried to do a scan because I have the LiDAR thing on the camera, but I got to get a better LiDAR app. I'm not too thrilled with it. I rather cast plaster than LiDAR. Getting a 3D image is great, but walking out with a physical cast, can't beat it. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in that area. We're going to be going back there, and we're going to try to talk to the local rangers. See if we can, put up some, cameras and, almost cell cameras, which would be great. And is telling you, settle down.
It's my birthday, and I'll cry if I want to. Just joking. I just love y'all so much. This is so much fun. But that's something, man. Now, what do y'all think about this? I don't know whether it's like more cameras, more people out looking. What's going on with this? Like Glimmerman, you start seeing. I'm hearing something about crawlers now. Have you heard this, Laura? I know you do a lot. You and Donnie do, and Steve do a lot of research. Because you're putting out all these, the shows on the missing and everything else and the mysteries. What do you guys think? Is it just something that's new, Steve? Is it just that we're seeing it? Is it something crawling in because of all the stuff going on? What do you think about these crawlers?
I don't know. I haven't heard a whole lot about them, but it sounds like something different, something new that people are seeing now. And I think whatever's out there, the cosmic trickster, or whatever you want to call it, I think every now and then it sends something different around. We've got all these other cryptids and things, and it's time for something different. And then it may just be a few isolated incidents, and then it may be something that's going to be with us for a while, like Dogman. I didn't start hearing Dogman stories until a few years ago. Now he's everywhere.
Yep. I mean, you do have these, Sasquatches and Dogman have both been on all fours. So, and they do utilize that type of a position in hunting and creeping up on things. But I know you're talking about. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's just something new from the interdimensional lands or wherever, the ether.
And then I think when it gets a name and people start putting that together, but then they realize that they've had the same experience. Like I talked to a guy that had a flannel man encounter like 15, 16 years ago. I'd never heard of such a thing.
I had neither.
It's in my first book, which I published, I think, in 2012. I didn't hear about the flannel man until like 2 or 3 years ago on Strange Familiars. Tim talks about it over there, and I went back and I read it, and it's a flannel man encounter from like the early 2000s.
Tim's great.
Froze here says crawlers are like wendigos, except scarier. I heard a Native American say.
Yeah, what, Cisco? What do you mean crawlers specifically? You're talking about those like humanoid-looking things?
Yeah, it's kind of. I was trying to get looking at a couple videos, and one of them actually looked like a man, like almost like he was in the midst of shape-shifting, like just like Froze just said. And the car stopped, and I'll see if I can pull up the video for next week or something. I was trying to get clips, but he looked like he was changing, and then all of a sudden, the guy yelled out, "It's like, hey, are you okay?" Because it looked like a man laying in the ditch, and then the thing made some crazy sound. I mean, like, just opened its mouth, and it's just like this odd, echoey kind of.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
and then it started racing, like almost like a human crab, the way it was crawling.
He took off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh God, it was crazy.
It was very odd. For me, it kind of looked like a Wendigo-esque,
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's confusing. I mean, there's a lot of people, skinwalker. They're really confusing the heck out of they're adding attributes to this thing that it shouldn't really have, I guess, to try to make something more than it is.
Well, like your Wendigo and your Skinwalker, everybody gets that. If somebody says shapeshifter, it doesn't mean Native American or whatever. There's shapeshifters, I think, interdimensional kind of creatures and stuff like that. I mean, gosh, there's people that, have the power to do that. But I think, your... Certain Donnie and I were talking on the phone the other day. He says, "Is there anything you won't talk about?" And I said, "The things that my elders said, shh, because they hear you, and I take it serious. It's just, that's anything they told me like that. It's been true." Yeah. So, I try not to. I had enough stuff bugging me. I try not to call it, but I think these things are something different. I don't know. And that's right. It's funny. Native Americans aren't afraid of these things. They just respect them and leave them alone. Very much like the Bigfoot, like we had on, I had that video on where that Cherokee culture keeper came on and explained how Native Americans are one with. They're always, they strive to be, at least traditional ones, strive to live with the earth instead of on it. So they don't destroy it or anything like that, and they have respect, and they set boundaries and even offerings and things like that, which is, not much different than, some voodoo and, I would imagine Buddhist. And didn't you tell me, Donnie, that there's a lot of cultures like that
there are a lot of cultures in Asia that do that too.
Yeah, offer food and things, right?
Yeah.
And then, you have people that might say, "Oh, well, that's crazy. You can't do that." Yeah, well, Catholics like candles. We like candles in homage for people. We do all that, incense and things like that. So again, I state, we are all more similar than we are different, and we should just realize that instead of fighting that's not right, that's not the way we do it, and realize all of this is connected. It's all connected. If you do something in memory and in homage of something, how could that be bad?
It's all intention too. They know what's going on in your head when you get there. They know you're coming, and they know what kind of intention you have there. So if you're in for, if you're trying to be like, hey, I just don't want to have any problems, and they usually leave you alone, and they're not going to interact with you. But it goes to you want to have an interaction with Sasquatch. We use protocols called AIEs, which is an active intelligent encounters. And you kind of like, you set your intentions and you go there and you ask permission. Say, just want to have an interaction. Don't want anything bad. I'm not going to be doing anything stupid. And usually it has really, really great results.
Like Aunt Edna said, ask permission first. Gray here is saying offerings cross a lot of boundaries. Absolutely. I mean, we do it. Anytime, I don't know if you guys know this, absolutely slow. Like a big dog, respect it and leave it alone. When we go to talk to an elder or something, just out of respect, and elder is anybody that's older than you. It can also mean, higher ups, where they've established that place. If they call you in, or you're going to talk to them, you always bring an offering of tobacco or something else first. And it has to be organic. We toss it on the drum for prayers as they drum and the vibrations go up. We toss it in the fire so the smoke goes up to the spirit. All of these things are so similar. And Donnie said something funny to me the other day. Do you remember when you said this to me? He said, "Where are all the Asians in the paranormal?" And I said, the only one I can think of is Joe Chin from Ghost Hunters. He goes, "I want to be the Asian paranormal guy." And I'm like, "You're welcome to absolutely be our consultant for this." So I'm going to utilize your spot here and ask you. I know a lot of people don't realize that you've spent a lot of time in a lot of Asian countries and stuff, and come close to a lot of the traditions. So is it different? Is it similar in each one, like say Japan, China, Korea, where they're offering? Because I had asked you about hungry ghosts.
Well,
I thought about the food.
Story for that, actually.
Go ahead, honey.
I know in Korea, in the traditional culture, they would have like a pretty similar concept where they would have like a yurt or a tent, and then they would have these fires, and you would throw things in as a I guess it's an offering, but one of the things that they would throw in was marijuana.
Okay.
And the smoke would fill the tents, and I guess they'd have a spiritual experience. Funny enough, when you
That's
look
how cops
into
do
it,
that
they
one,
believe now
Bird in a
that
Bale.
the marijuana plant may have actually originated in Korea.
Really? Wow.
And they would throw in the seeds and the fires for very similar ceremonies. And there's some research that's saying that it's native to that part of the world.
Now, you said that they would throw it into the fire as an offering.
Yeah,
We lost
and like
Steve.
for rituals, and from what I heard, I believe they would throw in the seeds.
Yeah, pop.
Because they didn't have tobacco in that part of the world. Tobacco was native to the Western Hemisphere. So, they used the original hemp plants, and everything was made out of hemp back then over there at the time, like in ancient times. Like they made, all their clothes, everything was just made out of hemp.
Yep.
So for all the stoners in the chat room, on behalf of my people, you're welcome.
We thank you, Donnie. Well, here's the thing too. What you just said sparked a thought to my head, is that there was I'll get the amount wrong, but I think if you were a farmer at one time when the colonies was just, Americas were just growing, according to the Yankees, and you had to grow hemp. You had to grow hemp because that's what they made clothes and all the rope. Think of all the ships and everything. All that stuff was made out of hemp, and it is just the things that they were used medicinally, and quite honestly, they used cocaine medicinally a lot then too. I don't know what else, but that's amazing. If it came from there, and I'm wondering if that didn't get brought over with all the different trade and everything got switched up. But I can look at it in the native sign of it, when you could tell when the regalia started changing, like we talked about, like the ribbons, they would send the surplus over and everything. Most of the colors that they didn't want in Paris and all around there was red. they didn't like that. They wanted purples and blues, and that was different to them. The indigo and the purple, only the very rich could afford to have that dye because isn't it from some type of shellfish or a sea creature or something excretes the ink or something? I can't remember. It's not the plant indigo. This is actually
like an urchin.
Yeah, similar to that, Laura. And that was, where they were striving for. They wanted it close to that color as possible, and blue was an easy one to get. Red they discarded, and they gave it to the Native Americans. So you started seeing a lot of red ribbons and stuff coming in the regalia. And, of course, that even went all the way through up into the Revolutionary, because we're talking about the red ribbon, from everybody having that. A lot of that in the women were given to the men, so they could tie it in hair, keep it in their pocket to remember them, or a handkerchief or something like that. But there was so much red ribbon that they actually used it as a surplus to tie up all of the Civil War records. And that's where we get red tape from. You got to go through all the red tape because they actually had to untie it and go through because they had no filing system or anything. If you were in the 100 Corps, you would just be all mixed in. They didn't even have it alphabetically. They just had it all in a stack and tied with red tape. It was really something else. But that's where all that comes from.
But I
all
love that
from hemp.
I love that comment though. But you're Donnie's right about the whole thing. There aren't many, if any, Asians in this field, which is really bizarre. My nephews happen to be part Korean, so they ask questions, but they ain't going into the field or the subject whatsoever. I just think it's very interesting because there's such a great culture there on multiple different types of, between the Korean, Filipino, forget it. I mean, they got stuff there that I think they're still discovering, and it's an amazing thing. They can really add a lot to it.
And all the ghost stories coming out of Japan, I mean, that is an entire rabbit hole in and of itself.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's movies left and right. Every movie you see is, based a lot on the, Japanese culture. And
scary stuff, man.
Well, it's an honor thing,
some of it's too
right?
heavy for me, as far as, and I really can't say whether it's just out of Japan. I think it is Japan. I mean, everything is just so next level, and I'm just, it's like, ooh, I can't do it. But I can't do slasher stuff and stuff that we put out either. I'm not a creepypasta person. I love the idea of creepypasta, because I think what it means is just, a mix. It could be anything, but I'm more of the, the mystery and the whole ghost thing and stuff like that. And ghost stuff, all of that, the paranormal and the supernatural is enough for me without adding extra, chicks coming out of TVs and the well.
Yeah, that Japanese horror stuff, I can't watch. It's way too scary. I don't care.
It's, if you consider the honor factor and how many people have taken their life because of loss of honor or in their own minds, through their family. They have that whole forest devoted to it. I live pretty close to Fort Lee, New Jersey. And let me tell you, these people come onto the GW Bridge, and we had a guy, one of my friends in the building, he's the EMS guy that goes pick up the bodies and help people off. Guy came on, Japanese, went to the middle of the bridge, he jumped, he lived. They brought him in. They brought him right to Columbia Hospital, which is right next to the bridge. He stayed there for 7 days. They released him. He went right back to the bridge and jumped again. Yeah. It's no joke. And, it's funny. My brother's wife, or ex-wife, she's American, but she's Korean American, and we're not. And he has 2 sons. If my brother was anything Asian, it would have been like the greatest thing ever. But there's a lot of honor and dishonor based on that. And older you are, the more it hurts. It's almost like a curse or something like that. But it's whatever it is, what it is. But I got great nephews from it. And they're just good people, but they don't subscribe to any of that. They're too Americanized now. There's no way they're gonna go for that stuff. But
you mean like it's. I'm going to get it wrong. Harry Carey. Now, is that Chinese?
That's
Or is
Japanese.
that Japanese?
Japanese.
Okay. Okay. Because that's an honor thing too. And it's the same in some Native American cultures. And we always have to be careful. I get letters, and you know what? You're going to get them right back too if you send them. But here's the thing.
Send them to.
Yeah, each one is a little bit different. Just like think of each tribe as almost like a different form of that of that religion. It's like everybody knows they got to take care of the earth, or it doesn't take care of you back. Most people have that. We're not going to wipe something out. We only take, like when you're harvesting herbs, you only take 1/3. You leave 1/3 to the elements that might be destroyed, and the other third to thrive. So chances are it's that patch of, a wormwood or milkweed or yarrow is going to be there when you go back to collect again. It makes perfect sense not to destroy it. And Donny, when I were talking on the phone, I had mentioned that, he was saying that he didn't understand how natives it could be bad or evil or something like that because it's so close to the earth. I said, there's a lot of bad tribes, and I don't mean bad tribes. I mean vicious, nasty killers, that would come in. And there's one group I won't mention here. Yeah, I won't mention here. But it's survival, and it's very much, not unlike the Vikings, how they were. They went in, they pillaged, and they stole, and they took, and they celebrated. That was it. That's how they did their thing. And that whole Pathfinder movie, they used us basically for the Olympics. They really did. But there were some that came in, and I mean so evil to the point of look, they wouldn't come over. This one group wouldn't come over and bug you, but if you did something to one of theirs, or you came and you stole a horse, or you bothered somebody else, they would basically all get together, and you get that shadow person to come out, and these warriors would crawl into your camp, and you would never know. You think ninjas. Yep. Crawl into your camp, and basically they would slit the throats of every member of your family quietly, then wake you up so you could see it before they slit yours.
Yep.
And they would do it and walk back out, and that was it. And they didn't even want your stuff. They didn't even take your stuff because it was tainted. But, I mean, there was plenty of Native Americans that would go over and take from the hunter-gatherers. You had warriors and stuff like that. And I think, the Dogman and the Red Stick and, all those, they're very... could very well be like that. But when they started being attacked, they all got together and started working together. And Donnie and I were talking about one of the coolest things I ever heard was when I realized when you're looking at the chief's headdress, everybody knows what I mean when I say that with the feathers. That headdress is put together. Now, this is how it goes. Every time you do something that is an achievement or a milestone, you receive an eagle feather, usually from the matriarch of your family or the chief of the tribe. And you keep that. And as an adult, you come to the time where you give some of them, you start handing them out to your children as they pass milestones or whatever. So when the chief was picked to go and speak at these councils where all the tribes met together, they would take a feather from each person in the village, and it would be comprised into that headdress. He was given a liar choker, those real tight bone chokers you see, that if you told a lie it would choke you. That's why it's called that. And he would wear that on his head, so everybody in the village was represented right there above his crown between him and the Great Spirit. Yep. It's the coolest thing ever. I love that. I love that. Oh, yeah. And the Deaderer here says Mexican culture and African voodoo cultures also offer booze, tobacco in their rituals. Yes, absolutely. I have been involved in some of those, helping someone with voodoo, and I was watching her put out the honey and the whiskey and the, what was it? Cornmeal. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm not saying anything about it, but it was the first time I'd seen it. In the situation we were all working, and every one of us was from a different belief system and everything else. We just came there with our gifts to help one person. And when it was all over, I turned around and darned if half of that honey wasn't gone. So the cornmeal was moved all over the place, and the whiskey was down this much. And nobody entered that circle. I made sure of it because I was going around the whole outside making sure I never saw it happen. But it's amazing.
Yep.
You know. Now, you hear
Ceremonies
about
are
that
great.
too, Donnie? You know, how about you, Lord? Have you heard anything about that? Different cultures doing this type of thing?
Before I have a question then for Brian, but the cornmeal and the honey reminds me of what you're supposed to offer the Fae. But I think I heard that you're not supposed to offer them alcohol.
Okay.
But other than that, no, I haven't heard that other than offering to the Fae. But you had just mentioned Dogman, and now I can't remember if it was you, Brian, or if it was, I think it was like Ronald Murphy was on Dave Scott's show. This was like maybe like 6 months ago. I can't remember. But somebody was talking about the Native Americans would bury their dead with wolf skulls. And that, in theory, was kind of where the Dogmen came from.
That was Ron. Ron Murphy was.
Ron.
He'll give you that inside type of, college level deal. Like, all the information you ever wanted to know about any subject in this. Ron Murphy is your person.
Yeah,
but they do that. They have done that in the past, and I've actually proposed to another person that's a very good investigator. We've seen pictures of they call him I don't know, Goat Man or Ram, or I think it was Goat Man, and it basically looks like a Bigfoot with a big goat head on its head. And seeing how these entities, these creatures, have had a relationship with a lot of indigenous tribes, be it North American, South American, whatever. The tendency to put on a mask, even the you were talking about Vikings used to do it. They'd put a mask over their face to scare the hell out of people, make them look like a bear, like these huge bears coming at them. And I have a theory that some of these Sasquatch are doing that same thing. They're hiding their inner self and just putting the head of a deer or the head of a goat or something, or the skin. It looks like the skin. It doesn't take much for them to pull out some of the hard stuff and just wear it as a mask. So that's been done before, but I can't. With all this stuff with Bigfoot and Dogman, you can't really prove anything unless you have kick-ass video, or you have one to take home to mom. Everything is theory at this point, and some people, I just don't know the fighting between the two different groups. No, I'm right, you're wrong. Look, it's all theory.
Right.
You're not talking about something that's you can quantify yet, unless you know somebody who works in a lab, S7 or whatever, and they have a damn Bigfoot there. But Ron is the one that Ron is really good about like all those little minute details on things. It's great.
I have another quick. Have you heard? And this is kind of, I don't know where I got this in my own head, but I was kind of wondering if like Dogman and Bigfoot were kind of almost the same thing in some instances, and then I've heard other people saying that recently too. Have you heard anything like that?
I've actually thought that at one point,
right?
Because you don't just have one type of Bigfoot or Sasquatch, and we're not just talking about. There's a lot of similarities between what you get in North America and Canada, and then it changes a little bit in Nepal. Then you get to South. You get to certain areas and you get them smaller, or you get the Yahweh over in Australia or whatever. And then someone came up with there's 7 variants of Dogman.
Yeah.
From something that looks like a werewolf out of a freaking horror film to something that looks like a hyena or a baboon, or like more monkey-esque. And what if they're all one of the same species? It's just different, iterations of them. I mean, look at the diversity you see on your screen right now. We don't all look the same. And
For being safe, squirrels look different.
They do.
no joke. If you just realize that nature
dog-
changes
well-
with its environment, the squirrels in Alabama look completely different than the ones we have here in New Jersey. I mean, if you just go from New Jersey to Virginia or New Jersey to to Penny or any of these, you're going to see different. You just colors and the structure and the way their ears change in the wintertime. I mean, of course animals are going to look different. If you're, a Bigfoot would be different with its environment, and so would
Right.
Dogman or Rougarou or any of that.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
you're talking about
It's nature.
there's a great researcher out of the UK, Paul Sinclair, and he just gave a report. These two security guards were watching a real estate area, high-end real estate area. It was well after hours, and what they reported seeing a 7-foot, for lack of a better term, werewolf. But here's something that's very interesting. It had footwear on.
What?
It was wearing footwear, like it built something to wrap its paws in and wear.
Wow.
And that's not the first time I've heard these stories. Like, I've heard Dogman with pants, or like your atypical werewolf. Like, remember the old,
Yeah.
Abbott and Costello?
The
with
one that you'd be
shirts-
so yeah.
Yeah, the shirt's ripped and it's a ripped shirt. There's been Dogmen with shirts on. I've
heard
stuff
that.
about Bigfoot wearing some kind of article of clothing. Now, Bigfoot, in my opinion, could just be, someone leaves something back in a campsite. They're going to take it. They like it, especially if it smells like someone. It's like, for the most part, humans are pretty good about cleaning themselves. We smell better than their own kind for the most part. But I mean, I wouldn't put it past that these things are somehow interrelated or connected. There's different qualities to it. There's certain similarities in human beings. There's people that have like a cleft lip, and if you really start looking at people surfing, you'll see like, oh, he or she looks just like that person I remember, and that one looks just like that person. You do get certain characteristics that are within the species. It's very interesting.
It is. And Steve, you were shaking your head. Had you heard about Dogman, being seen?
Yeah, being different. A lady I know in Louisiana saw one that looked more like the Anubis character from Egyptian mythology. She said it was canine, but it looked more like Anubis than a regular dog.
Ruck Rabbit here says old wild man reports had Bigfoot wearing clothing.
Yep.
Now, Steve's usually, when you guys, I call you guys all the time. Is this true? Is this, and Steve and I have talked about, what's her name? Monsters Among Us. Got Linda Godfrey.
Linda, yeah.
Wonderful. And she tells this one I'll never forget of a young boy and girl going to the laundromat with their mom. And if you've ever had to do that as kids, you know that there's time you got to kill. They had got a new Nerf football and they were out in the parking lot playing. And there was a kind of a sewer entrance, but it kind of sort of looked a little like one of those old industrial, like the metal doors you pull up in an old house to go down in the cellar from outside. It was similar to that. The door opens up and this guy comes out, but he's actually got a lantern. The little girl's just like gone over to get the ball and just stand there watching this door open. And this guy comes out. He's got a lantern, and he's got the old timey ruffled shirt and the old pants. She said it was really weird because his pants had like buttons, like 2 rows of buttons. Now that that's old. Yeah. And all of a sudden she hears him talking to her, but he's not moving his mouth. It's all telepathic. And he knew her name. Now she's creeped out. She's trying to like to get her brother's attention. And the whole time he's like, I won't hurt you. I won't hurt you. And then he says something like, oh, not now, not now. And he starts to change. She says his jaw just started to drop and he started to change. And that's when she broke in fear and screamed and ran to her brother. And he ran her into the to her mom in the laundromat. And this whole story went on, and the way she's describing it and everything, and she actually went back like 25 years later just to see it, and the whole strip mall had been changed. She said, so that door was gone, but she still got that same creepy, much like I did with the snot hag, because I had come back after many years later and it was in the same woods. I still felt that. It's crazy. I mean, who am I to say it's not I've seen weird stuff. I can't say that's not true.
I mean, who's to say that? I have a theory that these things are their own species, and they can be flesh and blood here, but they have the ability to, and it's an innate ability. It'll be explained through quantum physics down the line, but they have an ability to change themselves into a form that can transform into, say, interdimensional, or travel from point A to point B, or into light or an energy source. So if you could physically come back here and rearrange your molecules to look like a giant ape, for lack of a better word, what would it take you to say they are scared of these people? Let me try to make myself look more like them, and just change yourself back into something more human.
You know what? Steve's got a theory on that with the black-eyed kids and the black-eyed adults, that they just keep trying to send something here that we'll pay attention to. Like, remember when those clowns were going through,
Yeah,
Steve?
well, they sent the Men in Black, and that freaked everybody out. And then later on, you had the Phantom Clowns starting like in the 70s, when I think it was when Lauren Coleman started writing about them and appearing in Boston. And then suddenly they were all over the country. And, of course, that scared everybody. And then they tried the Black-Eyed Kids, and nobody liked them either. And then they tried the Phantom Clowns again a few years ago, and that didn't work. Had people out looking for them with shotguns and stuff. And then lately, there's been black-eyed adults. So it's like, well, the kids didn't work, maybe. So I've often said that if they ever send out black-eyed bikini models with pizza and metal albums, you'll know who took me.
That guy Stockton has a good idea. Let's get
I would be so confused when I opened the door.
It's going to happen
I'd be like,
now.
I don't know what to do right now. I know they got black eyes, and I can't let them in, but they're hot, and they got pizza.
Yep,
Man, I'm so
beer.
confused.
I say sing "Joy to the World." Just start singing.
I just lost my audio. Black-eyed kids didn't like me talking about them.
Wow.
I want to get this one in real quick. Tammy Finnegan. Thank you for having a name I can pronounce, first of all, Tammy. Octopus and other sea life can camo to invisibility. It's not beyond belief. Absolutely. Look at the chameleons. How many things have we seen where the chameleons are changing color, just climbing up different colored straws or on a wall or something? I mean, it's absolutely true.
That's always my go-to as an example, is look at an octopus, what it can do. Change its shape, its texture, its color, everything. It's such an incredible creature. But, along the lines of black-eyed kids and people, whatever, I don't know if you've been paying attention to what's been born lately, but a lot of babies are being born with black eyes.
Yes, I've heard this.
What?
Heard about that.
Are you serious?
I swear to God, and there's something, it's not right. I have a big gut, and it's, there's something about it. People are calling things demon juice, and I'm not going to get you fired or get you off of this, but...
Oh, nobody can fire me, sweetheart.
No, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, it's just, they've been calling it demon juice, and that's why we're having kids born with it. And
it's crazy. I've seen the pictures. It's not pretty. And I don't know. I mean, I don't want to assume, this or that, but the first thing I thought, because I'm wondering if, there's a great guy I'm trying to get on that talks a lot about CERN and talks about these portals and think look at this concert that just happened and the frequency stuff. And I'm, as far as that, I always try to watch the military side of it. Like, we've had this and we've had that for so long. Steve and I have talked about this at nauseum. Talking about Robert Guthrie.
When people start changing, that we know it used to be a different way, and it's changed now. And we think it's something that they're doing at CERN or somewhere like that.
It is.
That's messing with the actual fabric of time and space.
So do you know where the first collider was? It's still active.
Was it in Princeton?
No, it was in Illinois. It was Firm Lab, and it really ramped up, and they were going real quick in the early 90s. Okay, and then they shut down instantaneously as soon as they hit about 2008 or 9. The Mandela effect was coined by Fiona, and I don't remember her last name. She's a paranormal investigator because she felt Mandela was dead, but he wasn't. Hence the Mandela effect. I contended a long time ago, they did something where they did a rip in the space-time of not only our timeline, but other timelines. And you got to understand how quantum physics works. It's not just It's multiple lines with the same individual entities, but we're all doing something a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what happened is anybody born after the Mandela effect will know everything that's current right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because if some of us born prior to this rip in space and time, I still remember the cornucopia on the Fruit of the Loom.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay? I swear, I mean, you don't understand.
Berenstein Bears.
Right, and all this stuff. And that's because I think one half of our line, when they shut it down because they didn't know what the hell was going on, connected with the other half of rip of their line. Right now, there's another space timeline where people know, they don't know the Fruit of the Loom with the cornucopia, and now it has it. That's what's happened. We keep on messing around with stuff, and once you start cracking space time,
yes,
you can't repair it perfectly. So this is why you're having all these really odd creatures appearing in Chicago. Flying humanoids that look a lot like Mothman. They were all over the place. Lon Strickler was talking about them.
Yes,
Yeah.
and sitting on fence posts.
Yep.
And we had Jeremy on, honey, and I did an experiment. And this was 2 years ago. I had Jeremy on, and he was telling me this story. And I'll repeat it real quick here because this is going to fit. And yes, Slow, Shazam. I saw the movie. My kids were sitting on the floor in front of the TV, and I was doing some cleaning around the living room. And my sons were making fun of the dude's pants, and he swears he didn't make that movie. I saw that movie. No. That's absolutely true. But this one with Jeremy, thank you. And yeah, please hit the like button. Thanks, Marie.
Yep.
She's
the
always
dead
on
room
it.
there. That one he's talking about, Dolly from the James Bond movies. She had braces. There was no other reason for that scene with her and Richard Keel.
Yeah, she had braces
because he had the metal teeth. They even made a commercial out of that where it's the same characters. Now she doesn't have braces anymore. So that whole scene makes absolutely no sense. But there was a picture somebody put up of somebody from CERN sitting at a desk, and he was holding up a piece of paper and had a bunch of weird numbers on it, and said 007 and had a big smiley face, and the guy's got a big grin on his face. I think they do stuff so they can check and go back and look and say, okay, what did we change this time? Oh, there was this or that or the other. I remember Nelson Mandela dying. A friend and I talked extensively about it.
That we were so sad because he had died in prison and all this, and Mandela, I'm not sure what's going on there. I think, I'm one of those, I know that they portrayed stars back in the day in Hollywood. It was all, just fake. And they kept it up. So I don't take people for what I'm told they are. It's, by actions and things like that. I like to do my own research and, pay attention to my own way. But, I'm intrigued by what you said on the whole CERN thing and the creatures coming in, because I did this when I had Jeremy. Now he said he was driving somewhere in LA on the part, on the highway system they have there. I'm sure it's incredible. And he's felt something. And he looked up and he saw this creature very much like you guys described, very humanoid, very much like a Mothman. But he kind of described to me more like the way they sat in Prophecy. You know how like they could just jump and sit like a bird?
Exactly like that.
Right. And he goes by and this thing is just watching the traffic. And when he looked up at it, it looked down at him and it didn't have a face. And it had kind of a hooded thing, but it had a hollow. And then it took off and landed on the roof. And he's like pulls over. I mean, he couldn't drive. He's afraid to slam into something, a guardrail or something. He pulls over the side. He's looking. And this thing just sat on the edge of the roof. So creepy. So he goes and gets his camera and is hoping that one day it's good, he's going to pass the same way again and see it again. And about 2 weeks later, sure enough, it was in another spot. And it just immediately, as soon as he connected mentally and saw it, it turned and saw him. That's the creepiest thing to me. I had another one where I put out on the show, I said, if anybody sees a creature, blah, 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 and I kept the whole part about no face. Had about 4 people send me emails and stuff like that. They had seen the same thing. And sure enough, I said, tell me anything that might stand out to you with this. And the number one thing was when they realized they saw it, it turned and saw Mulder. Oh, what a birthday present! All these babies I get
He
to
woke
see.
up.
Oh, hi, darling.
Aw.
He's looking at it like, who the hell are you people?
He heard
Why'd
it
you
when he
wake me
said
up?
Mulder, though.
Hi, darling. But that's creepy because people saw it, and the same thing with No Face. Have you guys heard anything about the No Face guys?
Yeah,
It's
I've heard
obviously
several
very
of this.
strong. Have you? Very
Yeah,
strong
I've heard-
telepathic. How about you, Chet? Anybody here? You haven't seen one, had you?
Well, I have a theory about the crawlers, actually.
Go ahead.
I think maybe the reason why they're crawling is because they're not used to Earth's gravity.
Good theory right there.
Jeez,
Theory.
Donnie.
I thought about
That's a
that.
very good theory.
Donnie always pulls something amazing.
Right?
Like,
All right, you got to repeat it because you froze on me, Donnie. Say it again.
I think the reason they're crawling is because they're not used to Earth having so much gravity.
Wow.
Because where they're from, they have less gravity, but then they come here, there's more gravity, and they're like, oh man, I gotta crawl. Because if you were on a planet where there was too much gravity, we would start crawling too.
They
Right.
crawl pretty quick, though.
Well,
Yeah,
see, I
it's a
don't think
great
of that.
theory.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. That's actually probably some of the most refreshing stuff I've heard in the field of the paranormal probably the last 6 months. And I'm not kidding with that. That's good.
That's
You know?
awesome.
No, listen to what the Deaderer says. Yup, I had Shazam the movie, had the
Oh.
videotape, and when I heard about the Mandela effect about it, I ran to get my tape and it was gone.
Shit.
What?
Holy
But that can be explained,
shit.
and that is explained to you if you watch Back to the Future. When he's playing Earth Angel, and he has the picture of his family there, and his father doesn't kiss the girl yet, everything starts disappearing. You can't have the same stuff in the same timeline. There are certain laws about that, and things will disappear, and they'll go from where we are to the other line. Just
Look,
back
Aunt
over to
Edna
that.
says, Donnie, you're the man. And Mulder is a cutie pie. Tammy saying something here. And now you guys, look at this. The Bible has definitely changes. Has there been
Yeah.
changes, you guys?
I've heard that,
the
yeah.
lion shall lay with the lamb.
Yep.
It doesn't say that anymore. It says the lion and the wolf.
One of the mods, bake some quick cupcakes there. We need some shut the fuck up cakes on this. I don't know why they troll me in Russian. Do they really think, they must think a lot of me that I could read their
Well,
horrible
and
stuff
the
in
links
Russian.
that they drop don't even work as a link. There's a space in there. So
Those
it's
are
not even a
those are
full link.
porn links. I
Is it
believe.
Russian porn? Is that what it is?
Duh.
Da?
Big some
And look at the
experience
face he
there.
makes. Da. Yeah. Oh, Chris Jarvis says Shaq made a movie called Kazam. Yes, he did. But it wasn't the Shazam that we're talking about. What was that guy's name?
This was with
Oh, what was his name?
Sinbad.
Sinbad, thank you. Okay, here's one. Deader says, I've seen a no-face person driving a car on the highway like he was just another person. I don't understand this no-face thing. And see, Jackie says she loves Shazam
Ooh.
too. People remember this.
Yep.
I've heard stories of Bigfoot having no face, and it's just this blacker than black, like just hole of their face.
Wow.
It's some creepy shit.
Heard some of that too. It's all hair. There's a spot there, kind of like it's almost like there was a creature they used in Supernatural that was a suction-based creature, as well as in a couple other of these programs, where it kind of would just latch on to something like a leech. But yeah, no, I've heard stories of the same type of creature up in the northeast, and I want to say along the Appalachian Trail, but mid Atlantic.
Oh, here's Tammy Finnegan again. Said, one of my grandsons saw a no-face boy when we were shopping. He wouldn't stop screaming. I had to take him home. I'd be screaming too, Tammy.
Oh, hell yeah.
Gosh. I mean, that's something. And I wonder if it's that they have no face, or is it just they don't want us to see our face, so they do something to block it mentally, we know that there's so many things that they can do. It's like when I found that penny. Some of you heard this, but we were talking. I was telling Aunt Edna last night that during the Gallery of Resurrected Renderings, which is something we do here, Brian, because I can't always catch the chat, so I decided to go back and I do little clips and I put them together every couple of weeks. So we play them through, right? So I had missed the whole segment that Aunt Edna was telling about how I said, be mindful of spirit, and they're, sending you signs and things, whether it's the cardinal or pictures, all the different signs they send. And I said once, and you could probably explain this even better, once you start noticing it, they know you're noticing it, so they can do it more and more, play the song on the radio or something like that, because you're paying attention, you're connected into the energy. Mm-hmm. So I told them for during Christmas and holidays and Hanukkah and all the stuff where you're missing your loved ones, put something up and name them and talk to them while you're doing it, say this is for you and whatever, and see, if it feels better for you, and maybe they may give you a sign. So Aunt Edna did it, and she had one specific relative in mind when she was doing this, and when she got home, or whatever, her and her husband were together, and somebody on the TV said Luther, 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 which is a very different name. Right? Yep. It's not common to somebody be saying on television. And that was her name of her grandfather that she was focusing on. And she said, absolutely spirit. So I was telling that, and I said, don't forget about pennies from heaven, because coins are big with the dates. So the next morning I go out, open my car door, which was shut. Nobody was in my car. And right in the center of my seat was a penny. And I saw it, and I said, I bet if I pick this up, it's going to be my birth year. And I said, I just know it. I felt it. Yep. And sure enough, I picked it up and I look and I'm trying to see it because it was old and smudgy. And sure enough, it was my birth year. And I'm like, happy birthday. I bet you from my mom. So I was telling that. And now last night, and I got to share this with chat, because last night we had, like I said, Jack Kenna and everybody on, and Carly. And we were talking about how you have to treat yourself right. And I was saying, as a mom, every mom that bakes cookies knows this. I bet your wife does this, Brian. It's like they eat the broken cookies. They give the pretty cookies to the kids and the family and everything, and they always eat the broken cookies. And I said, sometimes you got to eat the good cookie. Yep. First thing I did this morning was open up my email. The first email on there was from a place I shop sometimes for Lidl's that has like their weekly specials. And I open it up, and it's a birthday gift. And you're never going to guess what it was.
Cookies?
Just one. But I got my good cookie.
There you go.
I thought it was the neatest thing. So yet That's again, cool. another sign from spirit, as far as I'm concerned. And you can't really discount those things. This life can be so crazy that you really have to accept that when you get those signals. And you're not reaching when something, you're not even thinking about it, it just happens. What do you guys think about that?
I agree. I had something recently. This was about a month ago. And cool. And the same thing happened probably a year ago. A year ago, me and the missus, we were just arguing, got in a fight. I had enough. I'm like, screw this, I'm out. No, we were really having a nice blowout. And I went in front of my building to cool off. I don't live in a house or anything. I have to go downstairs, go in front of the building. And it was dusk. And no one was on the street. And I'm looking up the street and mind you, there's a train station by me. So you have to walk past my building, go down the hill, go downstairs, and you get to a train. And I'm standing there and I'm really angry. And this one person comes, don't know where she came from. And she looked at me, and she was black. And she looked at me and she smiled at me and she said, hi. Very nice, like, hi. Like when she knew me. And I'm like, oh, hi. Stop for 2 seconds. And it caught me immediately. I'm like, that was odd. And I turned around, gone. She was gone.
Wow.
And then I was going to get my daughter just a week ago. And I just was bowing my head to go up this hill because it was all just when it started getting really cool, and I was wearing like a sweatshirt. So as I'm walking, this woman's like, don't hang your head low, hang it high. And like out of the blue. And let me tell you something, it's dusk. Where I live, you don't necessarily talk to everybody at night, especially there's no one else but me and this older woman on the street. And she said, "You have a blessed day." I said, "No, I'm not. I'm not hanging my head, low. I'm cold." She goes, "Oh, well, you have a blessed day." I said, "You have a nice holiday. Merry Christmas." Because I say Merry Christmas, by the way.
Oh, so do I.
And she smiled. "You too." And again, I got that feeling that was not. I think both of those were. Call them your spirit guides, your spirit angels. Somebody just letting you know that you're going to be okay, kid. Just keep your head up.
Hang in there.
Yep. And I think that's the key here in this whole thing. So that when you said what you said about, you have to have the cookie, you need the sign. I used to have cardinals literally land on my car while I was driving.
I had that butterfly that followed my son and I when we were coming back from his accident, and I said, I'm so tired. Somebody's got to give me some help. I just got to get to the next town so I can get a hotel, because I have a hard time seeing at night, and it was extremely stressful for him more than anybody. Right. He's riding with me, and I'm driving this big old truck. I love driving the truck. The truck wasn't the problem. The problem was we went from Alabama to New Jersey by way of Charleston, South Carolina.
Wow.
And I went through the mountains, and I've got, that's, oh my gosh, this big old truck, which was, again, I loved driving the truck. It wasn't the problem. It was seeing it at night and being able to get to the next town and missing an exit or this or that. It was just, it was stressful for everybody. But all of a sudden, this butterfly, monarch butterfly, just, right in front of my truck. And physics is against that. The time of the year in October is against that. Everything that makes sense is totally against it. Everybody's like, "Oh, fast butterfly, how could it do it?" I said, I'm talking to my son and going, I don't know if it's like caught in the air current from the other truck in front of me or what, but it doesn't make sense. And it would go away, and then a couple miles later, here it comes again. And I'm like, I know who that is. I know who sent that butterfly. And, why talk yourself out of this mess, Steve, I know you get signs all the time.
Yeah. I find coins inside and outside the house, different kinds of birds and things in different situations. And there's always something different about it, that it's just not your usual. I'm not even just tell.
Yeah. What was it, like a week before Christmas? It's chilly. It wasn't super warm at all. I mean, it was I go get it out of my car, and I was driving off the highway. I have a what do you call it, those ladybug.
Okay.
It's too cold for ladybugs.
Yeah.
They're not here. Once it dips past 60,
right,
it's not going to happen.
Yep.
And it's there and it's crawling. I'm like, ladybug. Like, that's pretty cool. Keep driving. I drove for a while. Ladybug's there. My wife even noticed it. Like, what the hell is the ladybug doing? It's way too cold for a ladybug. And I said, look around you. It's divine intervention, babe.
Absolutely.
That's what it is.
The little signs, and I think now, especially in troubled times, the light is really ramping up too. I think it needs our light to keep bright. You got to want it. You know what I'm saying? It's like I tell everybody all the time. It's like you got to want it. You can't just sit there and go, oh, woe is me, oh, woe is me. Everybody's got those moments. I do all the time. But, you pull yourself up out of the darkness if you know the way out, And sometimes you got to reach out to a friend, Laura, right? Or, we call each other. We lift each other up. We do that in the chat. Everybody, could do that just to help each other out of that hole. It's like that old thing. I've told this before to Steve. A guy falls in a hole. Okay, he can't get out. He's just walking along the sidewalk, falls in a hole. Now, everybody you think that would help him is walking by. There's a doctor that walks by. Hey, doc, can you help me? He says, sure. He writes a prescription, throws it in the hole, keeps walking. A police officer goes by. He goes, hey, you're not supposed to be down in there. Here's a ticket. Boom, And everybody else has come by. And all of a sudden, he sees somebody recognizes. He says, hey, Dave, I'm down here in the hole. You got to help me get out. And Dave looks down at him. He goes, what are you doing in the hole, man? He goes, I just fell in here and I can't get out. And he goes, hold on a minute. And he jumps in the hole with him. He goes, "You stupid son of a bitch. Now we're both stuck down here." He goes, "Yeah, but I've been here before and I know the way out. I got this." And that's the way we need to be. Everybody's going to fall in a dark hole every once in a while, but just stop looking down and look up. Get to the light and reach out to a friend, or, if you see somebody like that, grab them out. Now, if you're the type that, like the guy on the bridge, the minute you pull them out of the hole, they jump back in, keep walking. You did it once.
There are some people that are not going to be able to be changed.
That's the way it is, and you have to let them finish their journey. They're not ready yet. You can plant them a seed, a little light seed, and tell them, look, when you're ready to listen, when you're ready to do the things you need to do to take care of yourself, then, you call me and you let me know here. But as long as you're going to stay in this dark hole, I can't keep jumping in to get you, and I've had to do that, and it's not easy to walk away, but just don't turn around and look back. That's it. You're done. You can't sacrifice your whole self constantly, for people who aren't going to listen. And Edna said, "This has happened to me many times. The last person said, 'You're in a lot of pain, aren't you?' He said, 'God bless.' I replied, 'Thank you. God bless you too.' I started walking, turned around, and he was gone." Yep. These are angels that pop in and out. I want to say angels, spirit guides, whatever you want to put. It could be, somebody manifesting, coming through another dimension. We got to kind of get out of the box here and think it's possible, other dimensions, like we're talking Mandela effect, time slips, and things like that. I think by giving too many labels or saying that it must be an angel, or it must be this, or it must be that, some people feel, well, that it's not for me because they've been told that that's not for them. Bullshit. It's all for everybody. Everybody has loved ones on the other side that love you and care for you. Everybody has spirit guides and angels. Everybody has your higher self. Because if you think about it, if you, souls are not that, I'm finding that souls are not that compact. And like we said in the beginning, Bri, I said, well, could it be a fragmented soul? Like, is a piece of me left in Gettysburg and I want to go save myself? Or is it possible that I'm reincarnated and I fought with these guys and that's drawing me back? And no man left behind. You know what a soldier I am. I'd walk through dark hell to pull any of you out of it without hesitation,
I think
and that's
it's
just
a
the way
partially
it is.
that part. I think has a lot more about reincarnation or imprinting on you when you keep going through the cycle. See, you're choosing to come back. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out why the hell I chose to come back at this time. But apparently you're choosing to come back. Matter of fact, from what I'm hearing from other people, a lot of spirits are coming to this time because it's a very important point. They want to witness what's going to take place. That gives me hope.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Okay.
And I just want to say real quick, Brian, hang on one second.
Sure.
Every one of these is important, but this one really is too. The Deaderer says, yes, it's going in recovery, and everything you just said is spot on, and I follow it. That's beautiful, man, but I'm going to tell you something. We're all in recovery, honey. And I don't mean that in a flippant way. I mean, every single person that's in here has had something, and things get labeled. And I know it's a hard comeback, if you alcoholism or stuff like that. Hey, listen, I know I can only do so much with the drinking. I've had to come to a certain point where I'm done with tattoos and I don't have bail. So if I'm drinking whiskey or tequila or something like that, I'm just saying, we know our limits. We have to back our ways out. But every single person I believe in here has seen the darkness, and everything. That darkness has different names. So recovery from abuse, recovery from mental abuse, physical abuse, alcoholism, drugs, you name it. We've all got something. So you are in good company here, darling, and we know the way out. And we all jump in the hole with you. Keep going, and you keep your head up. You just keep going forward. And I'll tell you, that's just the way it is. It's one day at a time. Sometimes it's one breath at a time. One day is too much sometimes.
Tomorrow's another day. You never know what's going to bring. Just keep going.
It's so true.
Surprised.
And Jackie is saying here, it's an amazing time to be alive.
People who haven't seen the darkness wouldn't be the type of people who would be interested in these topics. They'd be like just the type of person that would make fun of someone for believing in the paranormal.
That's actually a really good point, Donnie.
It is a really good point.
You also got people that just they're not confident enough to know what's right and wrong, and they're just stuck in a cycle and they don't realize it. They're going to need one event that will change their life forever.
Yeah, it
happens.
And
people
have really gotten used to, I believe, and I say a large percentage of people have really gotten used to this instantaneous, whatever, me, give me mine stuff, push the button, and come, and all that stuff. And I was told by someone much wiser than I'll ever be, that basically just told, these are younger souls. And, I've been watching a lot of Ghosts Inside My Child because I really want to do another reincarnation, a couple of episodes on that because I think it's an amazing subject. And just watching that, and I'm thinking, I certainly believe, and Donnie and I were talking about this too, that a lot of souls have chosen to be reincarnated at this time for this reason. To lift up. The whole reason I'm doing this show, folks, I'll tell you, I got involved in doing this like 25 years ago, and I was on the other end trying to call in and help this one guy who was dealing with a lot of SRA, satanic ritual abuse children. And nobody was believing them when they came out, and they were being victimized a second time because people have a hard time, and, granted, people have a hard time believing that other people could be so evil, that other human beings can be so evil. And
I just had this conversation with my sister I don't want to cut you off, but I had the same conversation with my sister last night. I mean, I'm not gonna obviously get political, but we were talking about stuff, and she's like, she's like, doesn't believe the stuff that I'm telling her, and I'm like, all right, I'll just wait. She's not completely, whatever, but
just plant the seed and keep the door
open.
open.
I'll wait for you to catch up.
Yep.
Because she's like, I don't think people could be that evil to kill other people, and I'm like,
what? Yeah.
Ooh, you're in for a treat.
Yeah, you're in for a treat when you really get a grasp.
Listen to this. Go listen to this.
Right, right.
It's in front of your face.
Right, and this is a time, and Donnie made a really good point, because it was mid-conversation, and you were saying, and Steve, you're going to be all over this. You're going to love this, and we're going to do some shows about this. We've got some shows coming up that are going to be amazing, with the Vatican and Limburg. I don't know if you guys, you want to be in on that one, Bowden? That's like a 4-parter, ain't it, baby? But because I said, look, if you want to do Vatican, I'm going to tell the truth, because I mean, when you get to see the snake head in there, when you get to see the pedophilia symbols all over, and it's not reaching for it, it's right in your face. It's right in your face. There are lined up. Oh, well, I'm going to tell it now. I'll save it for the show. But we were talking about that, and you said that, how did you put that, Donnie, when you said, I don't think that the world is any more... were we talking evil, or were we talking corrupt, or the whole thing? Then it was, because he's really big on the Roman Empire and the history of that. And I said, no, I don't mean that. I mean, people are the same. I think people were just as evil back then, and they did bad things to each other. What I'm talking about is the amount of evil that has been welcomed and summoned into this time via CERN, via so many things, and greed and power.
Yeah, there are people that if you knew what they were doing, one, you wouldn't believe it. And when you finally did believe it, you would just be so aghast at the fact that what that person is. And there, you mentioned a place that has a ton of people like that. And you will be very surprised. And you know what? I'm a God-fearing person. I'm not going to go with any religion. I talk to God. He knows. He's pissed. And that's all you need to know.
Right. Yeah, absolutely true. And I do believe there's a lot of people here that chose to reincarnate at this time to bring light, to bring, some of that in. But we were talking about old and young souls, and I don't mean a young soul being, brand new. I think you do have to make new souls. I don't think the same ones get reincarnated over and over again, because what about the souls who choose to stay? Eventually, everybody that chooses to say is like you said in the beginning, some people are stuck in the middle. I'm good. I can't imagine wanting to stay there. But at this point in time, they're good, or they're not ready to move on mentally, or whatever they're going through. But there's some that go up and they ascend as high as they want to go, and they're saying, I'm good. I don't want to reincarnate again. So they would have to be new souls coming through to replace or to add, because there's so many people. So the young souls are the ones that are just tripping through life, don't care, no accountability, no nothing, no this, because they haven't learned anything yet. They have no genetic memory. Then you've got ones who do something and they kind of feel guilty about it because you kind of remember. And we're starting to talk about bloodlines and things like this. Now I'm starting to really get into this RH negative. Okay, how many people are I know Steve and I are. How many people in the chat, the show of hands, just put up a hand or put up a 1 if you know that you're RH negative? We're hearing a lot of stuff about, the different abilities. Here's some, usually have, a little bit of red to your hair. You have an extra vertebrae or an extra rib. You have this, and this. There's a lot of stuff. But I'm digging and I'm finding out that O positive, O was the original, and then you get to A, and then there's extra stuff on the A. That's actually, the more of those you have, the more your consciousness and your pineal gland is squelched. What do you hear?
They use the RH negative all the time now. They try to make that connection with UFOs, alien abductions. And my theory is it's not the RH that has any bearing on it. It's the blood type. And it's the rare blood types. The O, the A. Those are the real important factors. I don't personally think RH has anything to do with it. They're keying into the wrong thing. And I think we do a lot more research on the blood and blood type, not the negative or the positive. And you will see that that's what it's the rarity of these beings right now. And getting back into the well of the souls, which technically should be limited in the number. That's what the Lord has put into play. There are some that are not coming back. So they're depleting the well of souls. And some of these people, and I'm going to get crazy here, please forgive me, but God created everybody in his image. It is perfect. Everybody's perfect, no matter if you look like a billion-dollar movie star or Quasimodo. There's something beautiful about everybody because God created you. What's taking place right now is the destruction of what he created, your DNA. And that's sacrilegious. And we're going to get into an area where people may not be able to transition from here to heaven because you're a blasphemy. Think about that.
Yeah, and I really think that there's something, I'm going to bring it up, and I definitely want you guys to look at it as far as what I'm saying, as far as we've been messed with. And I can't tell you whether, it's a lot of times with as far as you hear the Nephilim, you hear this, you hear this, you hear this. I don't know how it happened. I don't know if it's aliens, or, what strain of alien, whatever it may be, or what the purpose is. But it seems to me the more of that you have, the less, the harder it is to get your consciousness up to see some of these things. A lot of people here I'm seeing, they're saying, they're positive. I've got a lot of RH negatives and stuff here, but it is like you say, Bri, it is like when you've got to the O can go to everybody. It's universal. And then you start getting through. And I'm going to bring more on that up because I really think that these couple ladies are really on to something. And I think the whole thing on the RH negative is now they've got groups for all the different special star people, like the stars that we're supposed to worship. No, I mean the stars, the movie stars and stuff that we're supposed to. These stupid people we make famous, which is we got to stop doing that. There's people in here that should be famous with their minds and and everything else. It's why they hold these people up as icons. I don't know, but they're starting to make a list like, oh, look at all the special people that we worship in the Kardashian family or whatever that are RH negative. They must be alien and have all these special powers and all this other stuff. Hollywood and stuff is starting to push this. And I'm saying if they're pushing it, they're hiding something else.
Indeed.
That's all I know. Something's up.
If I push it any further, my wife will put me someplace else.
She's going to
So
pull
I
you
gotta,
under the table.
Yeah, I gotta go because I gotta put my kid to sleep. But I apologize.
I love you, sweetheart.
Love you very much. Happy birthday, and I'll
Thank you.
And it's always a great pleasure, Laura. Thank you, Donnie. Awesome, Steve.
Thank you guys for
Always
doing
good,
this.
sir,
How
Brian.
sweet. And thank you so much.
Brian.
No
Feel better.
justice, no peace. I
Yeah.
love you,
It's good
brother.
talking
Love you
tonight,
too.
Brian.
Be well. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi.
And oh, that's so sweet of you guys to do that. And have all these people come in and stuff. Please let Connor know. I'm so sorry that he bounced out, but it was so nice for him to come in and say hi. Thank you, No Justice, No Peace, and everybody that's saying happy birthday in here. And listen, I'm not spending my birthday, sharing my birthday with you guys. You guys are my birthday. I can't imagine spending time with people that just, this is an amazing time for me, really. I can't, when I started putting this show together, I told Steve and I push each other a lot of times. It's like, I saw Steve's potential, the way he got to put things together. When he told me his story about his granny and seeing her there with her hands that had been so busy and done so much, and there they were so still, and you were thinking about that and all the stories and everything else, and what made you go and listen to all these stories. Steve and I had a very unique experience, both of us, and I'm sure you guys in the chat too have done this. We were late in life babies. We were taken to a lot of the adult things. We were hanging around more adults than we were kids. So we got to hear the stories.
Funerals than I did birthday parties when I was a kid.
Me too. But we used it well. We listened to the stories and we remembered them, and that's when Steve started writing them down. And I kind of told him, you got to do this YouTube thing. You got to get out there and read these stories, just narrate them, and look at him now. And then he pushed me and said, you got to write your book, and we do it together. And the way its whole thing has grown. And the reason I started podcasting, like I said, is I wanted to get people on, like this guy who was trying to help these kids. I've done work with kids that have been survivors of rape, and to sit down and try to talk to them back over to this side of reality, that their life, they move on in spite of the fact. You teach somebody how to go from a victim to a survivor and be mad and do something about it and turn that negative to a positive. That's the whole thing about, these right here. This right here, this is a fan that I made, and I'll tell you, this right here is turkey buzzard feathers. And, it's mixed in with pheasant, some other, and little turkey. But the whole idea behind that is, what's the medicine of the corvids and, the turkey buzzards and all that, and seagulls? It's being able to take a negative garbage and turn it to a positive, their energy, and bring it through. So it's really, if you can do that in your life, you can go, I learned from this. I learned from my spider bites. I've never been through so much pain in all my life. But I turned it around to study the herbs that would stop it, and got together with some other herbalists, and they put the stuff that we used in a kit, and it wasn't, most of the people that were involved in that said, we don't want anything from it. They didn't charge $150 or $1,000 for this kit. It was $24.95, and we'll get it to you in 2 days, because time is tissue. And now there's a bunch of them. But that all came from going through pain, learning how to deal with it, and then reaching out and going, instead of sitting here and feeling sorry for myself that I've got to go through this or that, we found a way to spread that positive out from that negative. And that's the same way when people have podcasts like this, or, and reach out and spread that, kind of light. And that's the whole reason I wanted this. And now look at this magical, wonderful chat. Everybody comes in, they're chomping on bacon, they're baking, shut the fuck up, kids. They're helping each other. We're throwing feathers out. We've got spirits sending signs to people. They're opening up. We spend holidays and birthdays together. It's a beautiful thing, man. I can't think of anything better than reaching out and sharing ideas. Look at how many times we've told that story, Steve, Tequila No Salt, and took Donny to come through with a different perspective and a different vantage point.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the salt having anything to do with it.
I never did. I was looking at it as a bartender. You know, and I was more concerned with the guy that was being jumped than why the guy was ordering no salt. And Donnie said it. Maybe he had a couple of failed jumps and learned, hey, that's salt. Maybe I'd just do it without the salt, you know? And I'm just thinking that's the way he ordered his drinks, and that's as far as it went for me. As much as I know about salt, but I could not make those two connections.
Yeah.
You know?
Isn't that amazing?
And maybe
is
that's why he
amazing.
was playing pool, was because the pool table's the only table without a salt shaker on it.
That could be too. You know, that could be too. I mean, all those things are so you know, but we don't learn unless we talk about these things and kick them around and have all these vantage points. And that's why it's so important to have this chat in here. And then they go and find out stuff and they're sure. Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much. And for the bacon as well. There can never be enough bacon in the world. It's bacon is love. In this chat anyway. But that's the thing, you know, you just do what you can do. I didn't know how to do podcasts. I had to watch YouTube videos one step at a time. I don't know how many calls to Steve and other people that helped, Shannon and, you know, other people, Vance, you know, calling and asking just to get this out here. But this is what I wanted. I did it without the face and without the live chat. And, you know, I wouldn't give up the live chat for anything because this is where it all happens. It happens live. It happens organically. And I think it's a beautiful thing, man, you know? But think about that. If you've got a negative, can you turn it into a positive? Can you flip the knowledge that you learned? An elder told me one time that when I was talking about healing, because they brought me in to talk to vets and after I'd gone through all my spider stuff, and I guess they saw that as courage and true grit and things, and they wanted me to come in and talk to these vets, and I did. And it was just crazy the way the whole thing came through, and just being able to do that and be able to help these guys to the point of, you know, telling me stories they would tell their own wives or sisters or children, and look them in the eyes and go, brother, I love you, man, you know. Being able to do that then trained me to go on battlefields to do this with dead soldiers. Because now I could see. And I wonder sometimes if some of the gentlemen I helped aren't standing behind me when I do that. I think they all gather. I don't think we're ever really alone, guys. I really don't. And when you open up your idea to that, you'll see, you know, and I know that can sound scary to some people, but it's not. It's when you start looking at that, it's like it's as natural as can be. Super natural. It's, you know, what do you guys think?
You know what I like to imagine from that Civil War story when you help those soldiers pass on over to the other side? I like to imagine that they're over on the other side, like eating pie. Like
Doing the things.
They're like, man, this pie is good. We haven't eaten in like 200 years.
Just doing whatever.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, yeah. And the one thing that I remember, and I cannot remember if I put it in the book or not. I think I did. It's been a while since I've read my own book, and it's hard to remember exactly because you tell the stories so much and they don't change. But, you know, then you start talking about something else, and I was like, did I put that in a book or just tell it on a show? But when they were leaving, you could feel them leaving. You could feel the change one at a time, almost like they turned and walked away toward the light, you know, one at a time. And I could hear this click, click, click. And then it would be a break, and then I'd hear another like click, but it was a little different in sound. And I'm standing there thinking, and it just like the salt thing, until I was writing the book, I had to try to put myself back there, and almost like I went back just to remember every little sound, every little smell, the way the air felt, so I could describe it to you guys, right? And one night I'm laying there and I'm thinking about it, and all of a sudden the sound came back to me. When I was in basic training, that's where we learned it first, and they would teach you how, like, you're going to go do tactical bivouac and stuff. And we would take our M16s and we'd make a little tower with them. I bet you Blue, if you're still in here, Blue, you'll understand. He was definitely in things like this. And anybody in the military, you'll know what I mean. You stack them. So they're all standing in almost like a teepee shape against each other. They make a click, click, click. I think they were putting their weapons down before they left.
Oh my
They
God.
were finally allowed to let go of their weapons. And they sounded different because all these guys brought their own. And some were fighting on that field I was on with pitchforks and shovels and, God help us, legs. there was a story that was just, you're fighting for your life, and I think they were finally able to let go and put their weapons down and cross over into the light. And if that's what happened from going through all this on my journey, well worth it, baby. How about you guys?
I'm just trying not to cry right now.
But can you imagine? So
I'm not crying.
Pie,
You're
amazing.
Yeah, because eating pie, I mean, I can't prove it, but it was the sound, and I'm like, I've heard this before, but I can't quite place it. You know how you hear? And I'm like, man, how cool could that be? So why would you say you want to go back and you want to do it again, you want to do it again, you want to do it again, And just to hear that little girl that, we crossed that night, that was a whole room full of people, that she came back and visited the family so quick too. It was amazing. She came back and visited the family that she was like hanging in the back room with, just to let them know, I'm good. I came back to let you know it's really, it's really good over there, and I'm with my brother, and I got my nanny again, and my dog is there, and she just had to come back and tell everybody that she was okay at the Hoover House. So it's an amazing thing, guys. I know I've kept you on here, a long time, and I can't thank you enough for this. I can't imagine spending my birthday with anybody else. Laura, thank you so much, sweetheart. Forever,
Happy
baby.
birthday.
Look, happy birthday to me. So I still got my feather, and I'll never forget.
Grateful to be able to come up on here and share this moment with you.
It's great, man. It's
Yeah,
like
it
you guys
is.
are my family. Everybody in the chat's my family. We go over there, and I was like, go over there to see Steve because Nightmare had left me a chat, and I was able to say thank you to Donny. I never want to miss that kind of stuff, but it's it goes so fast. It's hard to describe how it looks, to me. And I went into Steve's chat because I know Nightmare is in there sometimes, and a lot of our friends go over there. And I said, if you see Nightmare, just tell him I wasn't, dissing him. I just, or her, I don't even know. I don't know. I wasn't dissing Nightmare. I just didn't see it. I wanted to say thank you so much as it means so much to me. And Steve is talking. He goes, well, we're going to have a thing over there. We might be doing something. But Sandy, don't say anything because sometimes Cisco's in here and lurking. I went, ha!
He was. I said, everybody join us tomorrow night. We're doing something special over on Cisco's channel. I didn't give the whole thing away.
No.
But she was in there lurking.
Oh, speaking of 13 past midnight, I think last night, Steve, you played an audio recording of Cisco narrating her book.
Yeah, that was the Jumpers and Grinners.
Yeah, I just had to say I was pretty
episode.
blown away by that. It sounded like she wasn't even reading anything. It sounded like she was just in the mic talking,
reliving it. Yeah.
Oh, how cool is that? I didn't know you did that. Thank you, sweetheart.
Yeah, you narrated that for me a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And it's been on 13 past midnight all this time, and then I replayed it last night. So
He said the pie thing was beautiful, Nightmare. Oh, thank you, Nightmare. I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for yesterday. And I'm sorry I missed
here's
you.
to 60 more.
Thank you, darling.
Water there.
With my echinacea tea. I
Oh
love
man, I should
y'all.
have had a beer open.
Click, 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 click. I love y'all. Oh, and again, guys, send me your there's so many different links were popped down in here. There was a thing on the Mandela effect and a lot of other things. So go back. Tonight I didn't play any stuff that I got to cut out. So the live chat will live. And, I can see Steve every once in a while. He'll play a song on my little videos and go, she's going to get a copyright hit. I'm pulling it right out, man. Because like I said, a lot of times the live is where it happens. And if I got to pull it out, I do that for you guys. If I got to change it, the live chat will go away. So I try to wait at least 24 hours on that and I'll pull it. I don't do it a lot, but I wanted you guys to experience certain things with certain songs. It just wouldn't have been the same if I didn't play a little Gimme Shelter with Crispy and his great guitar and his hair coming flying in. And I'm really trying to teach myself animation. So work with me on that. I'm trying to get it so I can make nice videos for you guys too. But I wanted to tell you that this is where it happens on that. And if you ever go in the live chat space, and that's what happened, and I'm sorry, but try to get here for the lives for this. But that's amazing that you played that. Thank you so much. We've got to do that. I think Donnie gave us that idea to do the narration. I know you're so busy, but we can maybe do that and do the audio version of the book. And I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, we can do an audible. They've asked me to do audible versions of all mine. When I went with traditional publisher, they did an audible version of Strange Things in the Woods, and I got so much crap off that. Everybody was like, "It's not you."
No,
Yeah, I
you gotta
almost
do
bought
The
that, and
guy
I
was
saw.
good, but he's just people's like, he's good, but he's not you. So I'm going to go back and redo that one in my own voice, and then I'm going to do all the others, but it'll take a while.
Yep, and that's the thing. I think we should do that, and I love this, and we should do this again. You guys, I cannot thank you enough for being here. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for being here. If you hit that like on the way out, it really does help. And the reason I'm asking that is what it does is it breaks through the algorithm, so the show is recommended. And I also want to thank you guys when you put comments underneath the thing. Don't worry if somebody puts a bad comment. What I normally do is I'll say thank you for your comment. I give them a heart and I give them a little like. And that doesn't mean that I love them as much as I love you. What I'm doing is if that person watches a show and all they can think of is to stop and actually take the time to put a negative comment, that person needs as much love as we can give them. Plus, I don't give them any negative back.
True.
I give them love, and it makes them crazy. So don't even go in there and argue with them. Let them go.
Cisco, real quick, would it be okay if I went on the comments and clowned them?
I don't care.
Okay, cool.
But
So
as
I can
long as
still
you
clown
say,
them, right?
as long as you give them a little love at the end.
All right.
Because the dude wasn't wrong. You know, he said I moved my hands around too much. So I said, I love you, man, and put two hands up there.
Okay,
So
well then he doesn't have to watch.
that's what I'm
Bye.
saying. Well, you know, I could be snarky and say, I look forward to your podcast. I mean, this is hard. You know, none of us are perfect. I'm going to
No,
say,
it's
you know.
so.
I'm
Guys,
gonna
seriously,
talk.
it's so much harder than you even like.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, forget it. So much harder than it looks.
Yeah, and editing and researching and things like that when you're doing a podcast that you edit and put up like Steve and Laura do. And, you know, Donnie is writing now. I don't know if
There's
you want to
so much
say
that
that.
goes on in the background. Like one of
Hours
those
and
videos
hours and
over on
hours.
Missing Persons Mysteries, some of those we put like 20, 30, 40 hours of work into with the research,
I
Yep.
believe
the
that.
writing, the recording, the editing, and Bill putting it all together with the graphics and everything. It's a group effort, and it still takes, you know, a lot of time.
Yep.
But,
Yeah.
you know, we want quality stuff over there. We don't just throw it up there. And because you see people that do that, just put anything up there. But people can tell. And I think that's one reason the channel's been so successful. We've got almost
It's amazing. It's
150,000
so many
subscribers.
talented
so it's resonating
people.
with somebody. Yeah. Yeah, we've
So
got great
much.
writers. Bill's got a degree in graphic design and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I got lucky. I happen to have a voice that people like to hear. So I'm
Well,
the
it's
wild
also
card.
the heart behind it, my friend.
Yeah,
Because, you know, there's a lot of voiceover people and stuff like that, you know, that, and I don't mean, you know, in podcasting and things like that. I'm talking about, you know, on commercials and, you know, other stuff like that. And you have the heart and it comes through. You have, a compassion for the people when you're telling the stories and things like that. It comes through. You can't really fake that, you know, because it's sound, and it's just like me hearing them drop what I believe was the weapons they had. It's a sound, and you know, the heart knows, and you know, it goes through the ears and into the heart, and it's just, that's the talent that you have, and the talent behind you. I mean, I gotta say, I don't want to, you know, give away, but I know Laura and I have heard what you wrote, and I was blown away too. I think you did a wonderful job, Donnie. I think that, you know, you should continue to do this, do more and more of the writing and the research, you know, any way you can. I think everybody in here could look in and find different things that you can do, or, you know, always look outside the box. I think this time that's happened in all of this, we have had to do that. And I think what we're looking at here is people that have rose above the tide and, you know, really excelled. So when I say I think a lot of light workers came here at this time to help others through, I truly mean it. And we've got so many here in the chat, and so many people that know that they have that ability and know there's something more, and that's why you're here. You know, it's whether you're attracted to the paranormal, the supernatural, whether it be cryptids or aliens or anything like that. You know, something else is out there, and you're willing to reach, you know, and see what you can touch. And that touches my heart that you guys were here tonight. I can't thank you guys enough for doing this. I feel bad I didn't have videos and all that stuff. Usually I show you ghost videos and stuff, but I hope you enjoyed the conversation, and I've enjoyed each and every one of you.
This is great.
I love you all.
So I'm sorry. I'm real. I need to, like, this is real weird. Since last year, I think I put up these like battery operated fairy lights in my window, and I've had them up, so it's been like, I don't know, since like COVID started. So what is it, like 2 years now? I don't even know.
Yeah.
But I had them up in my window.
You're 7 or 8 now, aren't we?
I know, right? A decade already.
Just 2 years to stop the spread. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Before we get you kicked off. Anyways.
Oh, stack arms. Yes, Blue. I'm sorry, I had to say it. Yes, stack arms. Thank you so much. It was stuck right here. Love you, Blue. Thank you for your service, darling. We need to talk sometime. I love you, Blue.
Yeah,
Thank you.
He's got stories. He's got stories. I know that. But anyways, I've had these lights up in my window for that long, and they're battery operated, and I have them set to come on. They come on around like 4 or 5, and then they go off like 11, 12 o'clock at night. And when the battery dies, they just eventually every day they get a little dimmer, and then it goes off, and I change the batteries. They're literally blinking, coming on and then off, and they're like just sitting there like not doing anything, and then they came back on. Never, the whole time that I've had them, never happened once.
There you go, baby. See?
I don't know. Something's going on, but
look for
some supernatural entity is clapping for us.
We'll clap for them, because I'll tell you what, I dig Spirit, and tonight I called it Chasing Spirit. If you hadn't seen the episode art, it was really cool. I had Crispy going across a Ouija board, and the planchette was chasing them. They're chasing Spirit. But I think that's what kind of we're all doing. And I don't think we're just chasing ghosts and chasing ghost stories. I think we're almost in search of our own spirit. And you know what? I think we find it here in shows like this on Sundays and Mondays when we're all together. And I think you find it in the spirit of the stories that Steve tells and Donny writes and that Laura tells and researches and puts it back out there. We're all connected. We're almost like when somebody turns on that light, the porch light, and everybody, all the bugs come and drawn to that light. I think we're all putting out that light. You guys are putting out that light, and together we make a bright light of love and connection and stuff like that. And every single person is in here is part of that light, And I'm going to tell you right now, everybody, I want you all to go out tomorrow and eat the good cookie, because you deserve it. Be kind to yourself. And I love you all so very much. Thank you for doing this tonight. I'm thrilled to have you all as friends. You're more than friends, you're family, and I absolutely adore our conversations. And I don't know I can't remember what life was really like without you guys. This is the most beautiful thing I've ever been a part of. Thank you.
Oh, I know. It's so wonderful. It really is.
And it feels really safe and warm in here. I know that Edna, I was going over last night's comments, to do the gallery. And I read each one and I go through and see how the conversation was going, pull them out and get little ideas to do things, for us. And Aunt Edna said it best. You could feel the warmth and the love when the spirit came. And I want you to think about that. Because we talk ourselves out of these little signs, and I think there's going to be more and more and more, because like Steve puts it, I think the veil is really, really, really thin right now, if you wanted that, and I think they're coming through more and more to let them know that we are absolutely here, and we're here with you. We're all part of that. So this is a place where we really shine that light. So go out and shine it again. And if you need it, you need to come back in and watch a show that makes you feel good. If you have ideas for shows, bring them on. I mean, Donnie's got me loaded up now. See, if we're all going to be so busy, because we've got some brilliant ideas. And we're also going to do a show on featuring all of Steve's Las Vegas hauntings and his stories there in Las Vegas. And I'm going to bring in a little bit of the Rat Pack nonsense and all that stuff. And, we're going to do some really down deep stories like Donnie brought up. And, I definitely want to hit the Lindbergh kidnapping and some things like that. So if you guys have ideas, you want to throw them in there, we will do it. It might take a little while because, as we said, we research it. It takes time to do that. So go over there and look at Laura's channel, Midnight in the Mountains. Get over there and watch in the Creepy Unsolved and all the different stuff on all of Steve's channels. Tell you guys know where to find Steve, but 13 Past Midnight, Missing Persons and Mysteries. And I just love you all, and thank you for spending this time with me. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, indeed. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. It's been great. Okay, guys, we're all out of here. Thank you, guys.
Bye, Cisco. Love you, Laura.
I love you
Donnie.
too, darling.
See you guys
Love
soon.
you too.
A little bacon for everybody, and we are out of here. And I can't believe how fast these mods are slinging these wrenches. You guys are just so
I can't
so
believe how
awesome.
fast the time has gone. Jeez.
I know. I could keep going.
It's
2
almost
hours and
time
20
for
minutes.
my other
Yeah,
show.
he's got to go do another show.
Man, time travel is real, huh?
And you got to get out there and take Mulder out to pee, darling.
Yep.
Okay,
See you
here we
later.
go,
time.
guys. Oh, I hate to end this show. I just would stay all night.
Yeah.
Thanks, honey, for doing this. You are absolutely a
Oh,
gem.
I copied your idea, Cisco, and I just can't edit videos like you can. So it's the same thing we
having
did for
everybody
Steve.
come in, and Dave and everybody and Pam, things are, and Brian coming in and Connor, everybody, it was absolutely wonderful. And
And
Donnie, thanks for
Soraya said happy
you for having
birthday,
me
but
on.
he is on the air right now, so he
Did he?
could not come yet. But I said
wow.
I'd message him later, maybe about coming on a show with you or something like
Oh,
that.
absolutely. We definitely want Soraya on. Boy, now there's a
Yeah.
Donnie. I'll tell you what. Have you ever heard Soraya ask, Kath?
I don't think so.
Where
no.
did the road go?
Yeah.
I mean, he'll get into Kundalini, he gets into demons, and you talk about aliens and all kind of other stuff. I'm still learning a lot. What I know about aliens, it's all little snippets and stuff, Orion and Vril and everything like that. But I had 1 or 2 UFO encounter things, but. I'm a ghost girl, but I'm willing to learn and I'm willing to talk because, again, I think it's all connected. I really do.
Oh, yeah, it is. Of course it is.
Cisco, next time you and I talk one-on-one, I'll tell you all the different UFO shapes and which race occupies them and which race is cool with which race and the other races that don't get along.
Yeah.
It's a deep rabbit hole.
Oh, I bet it is. And what happened to the praying mantis ones? Are they gone now, or are people still seeing them? Do you remember those praying mantis looking
No,
thingies?
people still see them. They tend to kind of work with other groups. I don't know. They're always like the only one in the ship.
I heard they're
that's, like, a
mean.
praying mantis.
Yeah.
Yes.
They seem to I think they're like contractors or something. Seems like it.
Seems really weird. You know what seems weird to me, though, is like if you were you can't really assume that an alien is any more evolved than we are. You know what I mean? I was like, you really can't make that assumption. They might not be. We could be hybrids of that. Who knows? I mean, there's so many questions. But if I was going to be an alien from, and I was supposedly an ascended being or whatever you want to call it, or an elevated intelligence, I can't imagine being a praying mantis. Wouldn't you pick a better, evolve into something better? I just can't imagine. Well, maybe there is no evolve anyway. I mean, I don't know. See?
They definitely tend to. From the stories I've heard about them, they seem to have the worst bedside manner. Mm-hmm. Like when the guy's being on the table being abducted. Like the praying mantis always seems to be in a crabby mood or bad bedside manner or something. I don't know. That's what I hear about them.
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm also looking into a lot of the NDEs because I want to get some answers a little bit for the chats too.
I don't like those stories.
Yeah,
that's something
scary?
when there's a podcast out and it has NDE on it, I skip it. I don't know. I just don't.
Well, I've heard some good ones.
It's just me.
I've heard some really good ones.
Yeah, I've heard
bugs
some really
me.
beautiful ones today about the different things, and it doesn't matter how many I hear. Most of them are the whole thing where I try to tell everybody here in the chat too. It's almost like I've never heard not one single one have I ever heard where somebody goes up and this big person comes out and is like, you're shit. You did this, and this, and I'm judging you for this. None of that happens. You judge yourself. You go through the feelings that you caused, and and all that stuff. And I think that's awesome because if you think about it, would a being that, what do you call it, creator or source or whatever, that's supposed to be all light and ultimate unconditional love, come down and judge anybody? See, I always think that that's the thing. If I go up against something really negative, the first thing I said is, he loves you too. Even you. because ultimate unconditional love, and it breaks them every time. Which is why when I have somebody in the comments and gives nasty comments, I'm thinking, my gosh, how broken are you to come through that, and you're just so angry about it. You've got to put down this negative stuff. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you love. Thank you for stopping by. The really bad ones, I ignore them completely because it kills them. It's like I went through all this anger and nobody even noticed. Oh, too bad. And that's how you deal with it. You know what I mean? But here, we got nothing but love, and I love you both. And we're going to get out of here because I know Donnie wants to have a cigarette. Somebody's got to pee in here.
Toby's got to pee for sure.
Thank you so much, my love. And I can't wait till we get together. We got to go to Gettysburg. We got to go to Hoover House. Who's going with us? We're going to Hoover House soon.
I'm there.
I'm there. I love you all. Good night, everybody. I think we're out of here.
Good night, everybody.
I love you. Thank you so much. This is absolutely priceless. Good night. I want to say one more. Thank you, thank you, thank you for taking the time. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Donnie. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Connor. Thank you for everybody that came in this chat tonight. I cannot tell you how much it means to me. Thank you. Happy birthday to me. Eat the good cookie. Good night.